All right, well, I'm pretty sure everything's already turned on anyway, so we may as well get straight into it. And I just want to say, bro, thank you for coming over and welcome to the studio.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, all right. Well, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to lock this. I said that I didn't want to look at it, so I'm not going to look at it.
No stress, bro. No stress.
I had notes. But I think I'll start with the first time I came in contact with your videos was recently with James doing those collabs.
Oh, yeah.
Moeydoworry, as I should say, Moeydoworry. Bro, I was mad because like it got me onto your page, started scrolling through, became a fan straight away.
Bro, that's sweet as.
And I was like, oh man, I've already seen some of these videos before. And I'm like looking at them like, million views. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Obviously, I've seen it before.
Yeah.
So I think that collab you've done with James, bro, I'm glad you did it because it led me to become familiar with you.
Oh, that's hectic. No, I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much of an outreach that would have given me with that collab because, bro, you're not the only one. A lot of people have come up to me now, just randoms, and they'll be like, bro, I want you to listen to my hardstyle. I want to listen to my rave music. I'm like, bro, I did not do this for like it all started with me hating.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it became, I'm now part of the community for some reason. I don't want to be part of this community, bro. Like, this is not what I want to be part of.
I'm going to see you at the festivals now, eh?
Bro, you know, people message me to get, like, even events have messaged me, we'll bring you in for free, we'll do a reaction, live reaction, you know, like, yeah, nah, that's all good, man.
Dude, that's a good opportunity, bro. Like, to be honest, because these festivals are getting expensive, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
are they?
Oh, dude, I was just trying to get tickets to Midnight Mafia. I might still go, I might not. These tickets are like 300 to 600. Depends on who's selling them now.
Are you serious?
Like, yeah, bro.
No, that's insane.
They'll just sell out in 1 second. I don't even buy tickets anymore. I just wait for my friends to buy them and then I just...
Yeah, no. Okay, that's crazy, man.
Yeah,
like, bro, look, I know it's an opportunity and all, but personally, at the end of the day, I kind of don't want to sell my soul in the sense that it's my morals, my values. I can't be just compromising that. So,
bro, it's morals and values. It's just music, bro.
Bro, I don't know. Nah, you know what? I don't mind getting into this.
Yeah.
Music to me, like, I do think that to a certain degree, you got to kind of watch out.
Yeah.
It does take a big impact on you. Like, so when I go to the gym, I used to listen to music all the time. Bro, honestly, the workouts were amazing. They were like, every rep I got in, I felt stronger, better, faster, like literally Kanye's song, you know?
Bro, I was just about to say, I bet you're listening to Stronger by Kanye. Yeah.
Legit, bro. But then like, bro, I don't know, I get like some sort of like an uneasy presence after. I don't know how to explain it, but I stopped listening to music, not because I wanted to, but because I broke my AirPods. And then I was just Siebes buying new ones.
Yeah.
And so I ran, like, I tested it out, going to the gym, not listening to music. Bro, I hated it. Honestly, it was the worst. But I noticed one difference, which is that for some reason, my mind-muscle connection was better. My reps were less, but my connection was better, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like, I got to focus more on the rep, on the motions better for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, ever since then, I just like limited my music use only in the car.
Yeah.
Like I still listen to music, bro.
Yeah.
But also just there's that awareness that you got to be careful what's around you because it does have that overall impact in your mental health. You know, music is probably like, I don't know, do you know Plato by any chance?
Yeah.
So Plato said that music gives wings to the soul.
Yeah.
So he really shows the power of music. Music has always been a very powerful force in human history. So as the Uncle Ben says in Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. So you got to be careful with things that have great power like music. So that's not me saying music's bad, don't listen to it. It's saying just be careful to what you listen to.
Dude, to be honest, I already know this is going to be a crazy episode. I had so many points to go down, all right? But I think that you're a well-spoken individual, you know? And I think to myself, like, maybe I should start... I'm already learning. Maybe I should be careful about what I listen to. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, look, it's the small things that people kind of don't realize are important, you know? And I completely get that. It's only until you start focusing on those things that they're revealed to you. Like... a great example is before you start the gym. Like I'll always use the gym as an example because
perfect metaphor,
it's a perfect metaphor. You know what I mean? Because you physically see the differences, right? Yeah. Other things when you try changing them, it's more mental and it's hard to see that. But with the gym, you can physically see that. So like if you start going to the gym, small things start impacting your life, right? The way you eat. You never view food the way you view food now because you enter the gym, right? Yeah. So it really... You don't realize how much of small things matter until you focus on them.
Yeah. Well, it's the details that make everything, isn't it, bro? Like, I'm a tradie by trade. That's what I do. And, like, I can work as hard as I can trying to get something done as quick as possible. But it's only until I stand back and go, 2-3 mil out that way, you know what I mean? The little details that make the bigger picture, bro, you know?
100%.
So, yeah. And, yeah, gym's a perfect metaphor. I use be honest, it's either gym or chest. They're the two metaphors that make the most sense.
100%, bro. 100%.
Yeah. Delvin, shout out to Delvin. I'm sorry, and I have to say this on the podcast. I beat you in chess 2 games in a row. Dude, I've been waiting months, dude. Maybe a year.
Bro, I thought you were saying chess as in chess workouts. Chess, actual
bro.
game.
Like, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm taking pieces, bro. I was
no way, bro. You're the next injury takers.
It was so necessary. I had to get that out there on the podcast because
for sure, bro.
I felt
That's a flex.
so good last
That's a flex, bro. No, dead set.
9 months in the making, I reckon.
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know all those moves like Napoleon and all that?
Oh no, dude! I bought Bobby Fischer's. I think it's Bobby Fischer's book to try and learn chess moves.
Oh, bro, you full on that book.
I bought a book.
That's
I've only just started, to be honest, and I got bored of it. Picked up another book. And
Yeah,
stopped reading that one,
fair
so
enough.
I don't know. I should be learning a bit more, but I don't even have it on my phone. I don't do nothing. He's my only opponent.
Yeah, no, fair enough, bro.
Yeah. All right. Well, then, okay. It was a good conversation to start to get into with the music. And to be honest, some of the hardstyle music, as you're aware now, is just noise. So it's good to be aware of what noise you're putting into your mind and not. But I would like to get to know the person behind the content that I see. And I'll also bring it back into some of the stuff that I do like about your content as well.
Yeah.
Stuff that I do find relatable. And that's the one, to be honest, the reason why I wanted to get on, wanted to get you on is the relatability that I see with you.
Yeah, for sure.
So, who is the man behind the content, bro? Like, how old are you? Where are you from? Bit of information like that.
Yeah, 100%. So, well, my name's Drome, but everyone calls me TGF, and the reason why I call myself TGF is because at first it was a podcast. The channel was a podcast.
I'm aware of that myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, you done your research. You needed to do some digging to find that out.
186 weeks ago, I think, it was episode 1.
No, and I stopped, you know?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Bro, you did your research.
Was it called That Good Podcast? Or
The Good Fight.
The Good Fight.
Yeah, so that's what TGF means. Like, so the philosophy behind it is that I find everything in every detail in life as a battle. And whether you are doing it for good or doing it for bad, that's your choice. And so the second you look at life as a battle is the second that you're able to become the best possible version of yourself. So even the small incremental things like when I wake up, am I going to pray? Or when I see someone that's in need of help, am I going to go help them out? And the choice to do good or bad is there. And so therefore you have the name The Good Fight. I made a small and said TGF, just like kind of KSI, knowledge, strength, integrity sort of thing.
I didn't even know it was knowledge, strength, and
integrity.
Yeah,
it was, bro. He full on tattooed it. Like that's a bit of a joke. He did, like his tattoos, like he's got knowledge, strength, integrity.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. So I was just like, you know what, I'll do a bit of a spin off on that.
Yeah.
But
so that was because that's actually, I went back and I seen that was actually the first post you started to make on social media was actually about the podcast that you started doing.
Yeah.
So I have got some stuff I want to talk to you about with that.
But me growing up, you want to talk about me growing up?
Yeah.
So I grew up in Mounting County.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
So
how old are you?
I'm 22.
22, okay. So what we might beat this out if you want to, but what high school did you go to?
So I went to St. Bishoy's. So that's no one will know it.
I don't think that's a real place.
Do you know Mandurah area?
yeah, I do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I used to live in St. Mary's for a very long time, and I lived in Coulton.
Oh, no way.
And I lived here, Penrith. I lived all over the place, but to be honest, I'm in Mount Druitt every Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. So Mount Druitt, I grew up in a small knit community. I'm Egyptian. Yeah. That's why I'm interested in this.
Oh, okay, dope. We can get into that. Yeah.
Can anyone see that?
No one can, but I'll let everyone know
it's
a Pharaoh Ramses sculpture. It's a sculpture.
It's hectic.
Yeah.
That's why the first thing I came into the studio, I saw that, it caught my eye. I was like, bro, this guy's got Egyptian stuff. That's hectic.
Yeah. Dude, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like I'll throw this in as well. I did a segment maybe last year in the start of the year for every episode for maybe 12 episodes in a row. I think I did maybe a 15-minute segment on Egypt at the end of every episode.
No way.
It was just something I was interested in, so I just talked about it on my ones after the guest left. I just did it by myself.
Yeah, bro, that's hectic.
So I'd research all week, and then I'd come back and have a bit of stuff to talk about.
Interesting, bro. I got a lot of questions.
Egypt is the craziest. Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I actually kind of wanted to talk about it. We'll talk about it
later. We'll get into it.
But we're from a small knit community, Egyptian community. We got a church in Mount Druitt area. So I was raised from as young as 0. I didn't live in Mount Druitt. I went to school and church there. So I literally was there more than I was actually living at home.
Yeah.
So Mount Druitt's a place I call home more than I call my own home. And I love the people there. My boys are there. I worked out there for a while. My gym was there for a bit. And then I moved down to my area. But I grew up in that area. And I like that. Kind of exposed me to... I like growing up in that area because like people like myself... growing up in Mountie wouldn't end up doing things like this. So it's interesting. So I got a bit of both worlds where I got to be well-read, know my stuff, but at the same time going on social media and also having that foundation of, the streets, understand people, you get to understand.
There's a middle of culture, bro. That's
a lot of culture, 100%. Yeah, people.
I'm there to be honest, I just forgot. I'm there every Monday now too. I have TAFE there. I've spent my sisters, my friends, everyone, they did dancing at Mount George Shopping Centre. I spent every afternoon there 5 days a week for 6-7 years in a row. Like,
bro, how good is that?
It's home. It's
home,
straight
bro.
up. It's the center of everything. In my head, it is anyway.
People are so kind over there.
Yeah.
People think like, oh, Mountie, stay away. Like, all the stories I hear online. But when you get there, bro, so many people are so nice.
Yeah.
Honestly.
The bad people aren't any more bad than the bad people in any other suburb.
Bro, my bad take is it's Blacktown. Bro, that's the place you don't want to be at night. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Mountie, I'm more than happy to walk at night. But Blacktown, that scares me, man.
Yeah.
It's
a bit different, when you start to get to like Bidwell and all these suburbs.
Oh, yeah, those areas maybe, yeah.
I had a mate that lived in Bidwell when I was younger, bro, and we had to walk through literal riots every night to get to his house.
Yeah, for sure.
We're only like 13, maybe 12, 11.
Yeah,
and we had to go through riots. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't think this is how it should be. This is crazy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Okay, so that's where you grew up, and there's a bit of an Egyptian community over there.
There's an Egyptian community over there, so shout out to community. And then after I went to uni, studied psychology. Psychology is always...
That's so dope. To be honest, once I'm finished my current career path I'm on, psychology and university is my next path I'm going down.
Oh, no way.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, psych is so good.
Yeah.
The only thing I had issues with is I learned a lot from psych, uni-wise, but I think I learned the majority of what I know now, not from university, if you want me to be honest with you. More from in the industry I'm in now, because I'm actually a behavior therapist. And I learned more from that. And additionally, I like my ideal figure that got me into psychology is Jordan Peterson. So he's probably the most I've learned, and the people that he learns from, so like Carl Jung, prolific figures like Freud, and then the philosophers, Plato, Aristotle, all those guys are the reason why I got into psychology and the reason why I love human behavior so much. Yeah,
bro, I'm a massive fan of Jordan Peterson. The first book I ever read was 12 Rules for Life. Like, I think last night I started watching, he's got a breakdown right now, a Christian roundtable kind of thing.
Yeah, they've got Exodus.
It's the next one after Exodus.
Oh, is there another one?
Just came out. I think it was probably would have been 24 hours ago now. But
okay.
Yeah, I start listening to it and I fall asleep.
Yeah.
I come back.
It can get a bit hectic.
Bro, did you listen to the Exodus one?
No, I didn't. Dude, I didn't listen to this biblical series.
I'm not smart enough, bro. I'm telling you, I'm trying so hard.
Yeah, I get you.
That they're just talking. I'm like, oh,
dude. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't really listened to the biblical series. The feedback I get is the same thing that you say from my friends. But what I enjoy is the Disney lectures.
Yeah.
Have you seen those ones?
I haven't seen those yet, yeah.
Those ones are, I think, easier to comprehend because I was, I do struggle a lot as well. And I was able to learn more from that than I was able to learn from the biblical series. Pinocchio, his take on Pinocchio, Lion King, and there was another one I forgot. But
damn, I got to watch that. I'd love that.
Those ones are really good, man.
Yeah.
Really
that would be perfect for me, bro. I'm watching those, yeah.
Bro, you'd love it. Yeah. Trust me.
All right, that's sick. They're great role models, bro. So they're the ones that got you interested in psychology, and to be honest, I think they are for me as well. But working in what you're doing now, behavioral therapy, is that what you called it?
Yeah,
okay. That's interesting enough, bro. I want to just touch on that real quick as well. So what is it that you do?
Yeah. So it's in NDIS, National Disability Insurance Scheme. It's basically more catered to special needs. You're implementing psychology with the special needs and, any behaviors of concerns they have. You're writing reports and doing therapies, whether they're proactive strategies or reactive strategies. It's not as interesting as you think it is, but yeah, it's not as deep and complex as I think the world of psychology. But it definitely does have a part to it.
Yeah, okay. And is it like with kids? Is it with adults? Who's
the demographic is diverse. I've worked with people as old as 65 and
wow.
Yeah, and as young as preschool.
Okay, because in my head I've got it really painted as a picture of like bad. Because when I think of from my own experience, a behavioral therapist is like when you're in trouble and you got to like have someone guide you, especially in school, to like make better decisions. Is it not? Is it not bad decision making therapy, or is it just overall decision making, like behavior?
It's so for example, aggressive against others, verbal aggression,
Those like bad behavior in a way.
Yeah, it's basically anything that's just going to reduce their quality of life.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
You're there to assist them with that as much as you can in terms of their behavior, and you know, you're working with other allied health like speech therapists, occupational therapists as well.
Mm-hmm.
So just improving their quality of life.
Yeah, that's cool. So did you finish a university course?
Yeah, I finished the degree, small degree, 3 years.
Yeah.
So I finished quite young, and I moved into this industry, and now so I kind of do social media and that on the, you know, that's my life right now.
That's mad, bro. You're on the grind, bro. That's sick.
On the grind.
And you're doing something that's actually very beneficial and helping towards the planet.
Yeah,
bro,
for sure.
I think psychology, I personally have had a psychologist in the past and haven't been there in a while. I'm not saying I need to, but I probably should go back and do it at some point. But I think if that decision was one of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my life. So I think anyone in that field is helping people at large, dude. At large. So
yeah, you're right.
Good work.
Yeah.
Good work.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. But you know, I definitely am glazing myself a bit too much. You know, I'm a bit of a lazy worker, so I'm not gonna pretend like I'm that guy that's always on the grind. So I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, nah, it's cool, bro. Be humble. It's all right. Be humble.
No, I think that's it. If you actually know.
Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. So then, this Egyptian community that are over in Mount Joy, like how many is it? Like is it people from around that area? Because to be honest, I don't even know if I've ever met anyone who's Egyptian. I think about it. So is there a lot of people?
No, there is. I don't know. Yeah, there is. It's a church.
Yeah.
So I grew up my whole life in a community that had that same mentality. You know, going to church. You know, having that relationship with God, having a relationship with the community, that fellowship. So yeah, there's a decent amount of people in that community, but we're not just located in Mountie. We're located. There's places everywhere in all of Sydney. I think there's like 60, 70 churches.
Wow.
From our specific like denomination.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. So the church in general that you're a part of, is it a part of like Christianity?
Yeah.
Like,
so
church. How do you describe?
I'm Coptic Orthodox. So
that's a new word for me, bro. Coptic
all right.
Orthodox.
So this is going to help you with the your learning about Egyptian stuff.
Yeah.
So Coptic is the language, the ancient pharaonic language. So you had hieroglyphs. After Alexander the Great conquered Egypt, or at least the known Egypt at the time, there was a massive Greek influence. So they started calling us Coptics. Coptic is just the Greek word for Egyptian, Egyptos, and hence the term Egypt. Before Egypt was conquered by Greece, the actual pharaonic language for the land of Egypt was called Chimi. So our land's actually called Chimi, but no one knows that. So we just stick with the Greco language that everyone knows, which is Egypt. But Coptic, again, stems from that lingo, which again is just a language which was a pharaonic language that was not hieroglyphs. It was made in Greek letters. So a great example of that is, you know, Yalla in Arabic it's Arabic, right? But I can write it as Yalla. That's not an English word, but it's English letters using the phonetics for the word in Arabic.
Yeah.
So Coptic is using Greek letters, but using the Egyptian language.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get you.
So if I spoke Coptic to a Greek person, they have no idea what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if I wrote it, they can recognize the words and read it, but they have no idea what they're reading.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. And then if the religion itself, or even whatever, like say the religion itself, if it comes from the hieroglyphs, that would have been way before the time of Christianity.
Oh, right. So yeah, I got to clarify that. Yeah. So Alexander the Great conquered Egypt, and then so Egypt became more Greek influenced and everything. After that, in the year between 36 to 40 AD, one of the apostles, Mark, he came to Egypt and he preached the gospel. And a lot of people were captured by that gospel. So Christianity has a very ancient root in Egypt. And so, we stem from the year 33 to 40 AD. And we've just kept the teachings ever since then, hence the term Orthodox, which just simply means from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, far out, 30 to 40 AD is pretty recent. Bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's as ancient as the Roman Catholic Church, as ancient as the Greek Orthodox Church. So Christianity spread in those areas. They became the headquarters of Christianity after Constantine, a Roman king, kind of restructured Christianity to be part of the Roman Empire. And so we had main headquarters of Christianity since then.
Damn, bro. You're well versed in your belief. That's very awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Like people like myself who just love to play with the idea of not just Christianity, but what is God in general. I'm not very familiar in the history.
See, this is why I personally first fell in love with Christianity through the history because I like historical figures like Constantine, like Alexander the Great, like Plato. And so I kind of first enjoyed my Christianity through the historical evidence of it. And then I just moved on from there.
Yeah. I think the historical evidence is enough to have convinced a lot of people of the way to live, like especially figures like, what's that guy? Wesley Huff. Have you ever heard of Wesley Huff?
Yeah, I love Wesley.
Bro, I heard about him the other day. I listened to this debate he did, and I'm like, there's enough
that
evidence
was a crazy
for
debate.
anyone.
Yeah, that was a crazy debate.
Billy Carson, I think it was.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, like, bro, there's enough evidence to convince anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy,
for sure.
bro. So that's awesome, bro. I always grew up, and this is kind of off topic as well, but I always grew up thinking that it was a very mythological belief system in any realm of religion, to be honest, not just Christianity. But
yeah.
And I thought, well, there's a massive jump between what we know today and 2,000 years ago when they claim. There's not a massive jump, actually. There's a clear path and evidence trail to lead right back to that day.
That's right.
Which is insane, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
Blows my mind.
Yeah, and I wouldn't blame you for thinking that, and then after all of a sudden you're realizing, like, there's a lot of integration here that we can clearly see. And Wes does a great job on that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Bro, side comment, but I love those Nordic tattoos. There's a Nordic, right?
Yeah. There's a few.
Do you have Nordic?
That's crazy that you know that. That's crazy that you know that. This is peace and protection, like they say from Odin, but I just like to say from God. And then I've got a couple, like all over my back. I've got a
yeah. Bro, you know what vibe you give me?
What?
I forgot his name, but I play God of War. Have you played God of War?
My brother has a lot. It depends who you say. Depends if I know or not, because my brother plays a lot.
It's the main character that
the main character starts
the
with
villain,
V.
not Kratos.
Not Kratos.
The villain he's versing.
Let's look it up,
bro. Look it up because you even look like him. You have the tats and you look like him, bro.
No way.
I'm telling you.
Baldur, not Baldur.
I'm like, bro. You know if you know
stranger.
I think that's it.
He's in the North era of the God of War.
Yeah.
Is it this guy?
Yeah, that's it, bro.
I can actually see what you're talking about. That's wild, bro. I used to look way more like him, bro. I used to just have one giant fat braid shaved head on the sides.
No way.
Yeah, because our ancestry comes from the North. Nordic is where our ancestry came, and then it came through France and England, and I can't remember. I meant to get a tattoo of it so I can help remember. But
Bro, that's hectic.
Yeah, and I think, bro, the Vikings TV, my whole back is a giant dedication to Bjorn. It's a combination of Bjorn and Ragnar's face put together.
Right.
And it's just like, I just think it's the greatest show of all time, bro. There's enough history in that show to keep me entertained.
Bro. No, honestly, like, bro, I'm never biased. I don't like to just look at my own history. I love to learn about everyone, their own cultures and beliefs. It's very interesting, man. Honestly, like the Viking history, God of War got me into it, and then.
Have you seen the show? Have you seen the Netflix show, The Vikings? It's unbelievable, bro.
I started it and I didn't finish it, but I want to finish it.
It has a lot of good historical accounts, although it is a timeline combination of multiple different eras of Vikings. So they have like a depiction of like the 4 sons of Ragnar, but they're 4 different timelines of people.
Okay, yeah.
Because Ragnar is almost multiple different people to become worshipped as one.
Yeah. Is that the one where they kind of integrated Christianity as well?
Yeah,
there's just one guy that got baptized or something like that?
Yeah, so they have Appelstein is the guy who they end up raiding England like the Nordics really did in that time. They raided England, came back, but they stole I guess you could call him a preacher or a pastor or something like that. They stole him, bring him back, integrated him into their society, but then they also wanted to learn a lot about his culture.
Yeah, right.
And he taught Ragnar about Christianity, and then Ragnar ended up dying as a Christian when he went back to England. One of the England kings ended up killing Ragnar, and he went, "Yep, all right. Just so you know, even though I've grown up believing in my gods, like, I want to go." Because I think that first guy, Appelstein, I think he died, and then Ragnar's like, "I want to go wherever he went."
Yeah. And I some people might get upset at me, but so I've got to be careful with my words how I say it. But Christianity does a really good job, or at least in the Orthodox Church. I wouldn't know about the Western world. They do a good job in when they did preach the gospel to other people, they did integrate their culture a little bit. So a great example of that is that if you come to my liturgy in the Coptic Orthodox Church, we still have hymns today that were hymns that were sung to the pharaohs that died.
Wow.
So we have a lot of pharaonic traditions that we still keep in our masses, our liturgies, that date back to that time. So we did a good job in learning how to conform, but at the same time still sticking to what we believe. So what we did is we kept the tune. So for example, there's this tune called Golgotha. Golgotha is a place where Christ died on. But the tune is a funeral prayer that we used to sing when we do the burial procession into the pyramids for the kings and pharaohs.
Wow.
We changed the tune into Christian verses, but the tune's still the same. So if you ever have the time later on, search up Golgotha, you'll hear the tune, and that's the exact same tune that we sang it. Likewise, there's another tune called Ep Oro, Coptic word for king. Ep Oro is basically a hymn that we sing when we enter into the church. Likewise, in the ancient Pharaonic tradition, when the pharaoh used to enter to the palace, we would sing that same hymn as well. So we did a good job, St. Mark at least, did a very good job in learning how to he didn't come in here and be like, I'm changing everything. He came in here, he understood the culture, he understood there are some things we can keep. That's not going to bridge or go against our faith. And I think it's smart and wise to do that, because no one's going to want to listen to you if you sound better than them, you know what I mean? So you get to someone's level, and that's the same way I like to approach people, not only in the Christian context, but in speaking to them, People speak differently, people talk differently, so get to their level, man. Don't pretend like you're better than them. That really annoys me, because I do see people do that. They're well-read, they're articulate, and then when they want to speak to others, they look down on them.
Well, it's understanding, dude. Relatability is one of the most greatest feelings that we can experience as humans, I think. Relatability is what brought you to my studio. It's what probably helps you get better connection with the people that you're helping with.
Yeah.
Relatability. So if someone wants to come through and just say, wipe the slate, I'm going to start it again from here. Everything you did was wrong. There's no relatability between you and that person.
Right.
But if they can say, oh, look, I completely understand the way you live is great. How about we just add some addition to what can already be better now?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's amazing, dude. And I think Christianity has done a great job now that you mention it, because there's even times if you talk about like the Nordics, we call them pagans, I guess, us pagans, but you'd have like the Pope, the Catholic Pope, his hat that he wears is a depiction of a fish. And that fish was one of the gods that the Nordics used to pray to. And then you have like...
Yep.
I think there's a bit of controversy around it, but I kind of believe it to be true. Like the birth of what they say, Jesus' birthday, which is the 25th of December, I think that over time that was adopted, and the time they originally believed it was like somewhere in the fall, and that was the day that the pagans used to do praise and worship on.
Yeah, look, I've done some research on that, and I think that has been proven wrong, that we do have actually evidence that Christ was born around that time. I personally celebrate Christmas actually on the 7th of January. Orthodox celebrate a little bit differently. That's because we didn't change it to the Gregorian calendar. But I'm humble enough to respect that actually they're more accurate than us. The Gregorian calendar was a mathematical way of understanding that the earth rotates around the sun and not that the sun rotates around the earth. So I've still stuck with the Julian calendar just because we stick with tradition. But I'm knowledgeable in the fact that the Gregorian calendar is a little bit more accurate. It's not like there's a crazy difference. 7th of January is only like a couple of days after. But yeah, the Gregorian calendar is much more accurate. We found that there is a higher chance that Christ was born in the 25th of December.
Yeah.
And all those events, the festives that were at the time, there's no direct manuscripts, early manuscripts at least, that show evidence of exactly 25th. There is around that time, but nothing exactly that time. But to add on to your fact, maybe not the Christmas part, but as Orthodox Christians, we still have peacocks in our churches. Peacocks is actually a Greek mythology where peacocks were a sign of eternal life. So we still use peacocks in imagery. And if you look in our churches, sometimes you'll see it here and there where there are peacock feathers. And that is not actually a Christian, at least a Jewish teaching. It was just like trying to, again, conform to understand like, hey, look, you guys talk about eternal life here. We're just going to look at that through the eyes of Christ, the lens of Christ, sorry. So we still use those peacock feathers, even though, they still have pagan roots to it.
I think it's so cool, bro, just to be imagining being in that time, like just to be an everyday person who believes the life that you have been taught to live, like, there's going to be an eternal life afterwards. You have to say great gratitude and don't do the wrong thing, and it's a normal way of living, right? But then someone else comes through and says, hey, everything you believe in is right. And that God that you're praying to has actually recently come down and died for our sins, you know what I mean? Like at that time, no matter where you are on the planet, hearing those stories from those got what are they called, disciples, would have been like, this is insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, this is crazy, dude.
Insane to the point where a lot of them like died brutally.
Yeah.
You know, like brutally. So for example, Bartholomew, he was flayed, like skinned.
Oh.
And Peter was crucified upside down. There's oral teachings that John was burnt in oil. So it also comes to question, like, no one's gonna die a brutal death like that for a lie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can clearly see all of them had a really big conviction that what I believe in is true. And I don't care what you do to me because I believe in the resurrection of the dead. I believe in Christ to the point where I'll go through this immense suffering, you know? So it really does convict you.
Yeah, I mean, how many things can you be so certain on that you're willing to just put up with
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
I don't know if I'm that certain on anything, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if I would have ate for breakfast.
No, for sure.
It was really that, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, gun to my head. I'm like, I'm happy to have suggestions, you know?
For sure, bro, for sure.
That's crazy, bro. I'll definitely want to come back to this biblical chapter of the podcast as well because I find faith to be a conversation I don't get to have too often.
Yeah,
In fact, I'm the guy that's dragging my mates to church, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean, bro? I thought you had nothing to do today, you know?
No. We'll move on.
So I want to just say, like, you did mention the fact that you did start the podcast. That was the first thing I noticed on your Instagram as well. But why did you start the podcast in the first place? You know, you said that you had a belief system in what you looked the world to be, but did you have any influences, like role models? Did you have any people online doing podcasts that you wanted to do as well? Like, I know what it's like to start a podcast, and I like to know why other people start them as well.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I was inspired by a lot of people, you know, and most of them are the ones I already said. Other people I would add as well into inspire me into doing this stuff would probably be it'd be a controversial one, but I'd say Tate.
Damn, that's mad, bro. I wouldn't say it's controversial.
No, I know, but at the same time, he motivated me to do this. I wouldn't say he, I align everything with him. You know, of course, there's a lot of stoic stuff I agree with, but the fact that he went out there, he's doing this this new platform where guys can speak in a way that seems very interesting. That inspired me, but I think it was also at the same time, no one was integrating the way I viewed the world the way I wanted to. It was a bit cocky, I guess, but I just didn't see enough people integrating the world in the way I liked. Like, I like integrating psychology with everything. Psychology is my everything. And so I liked integrating psychology in movies, which Jordan Peterson does. I liked integrating psychology in Christianity. I liked integrating psychology in the culture. And so everything stemmed from that, like learning people, understanding that, and using social media. I wanted to do that, build on that niche. I didn't see enough people doing that. So I was like, you know, if no one's doing it, I'm going to do it. You know?
Perfect, bro. What better reason is there to do it than to fill the hole that we're just not filled yet? You know what
I
mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then in doing so, I didn't listen to any of the full episodes, but I was going through and listening to the clips that you posted. They seemed very religion-based and Christianity-based.
That's why I stopped.
That's why you stopped.
That's why I stopped.
Okay, that's nice.
So I stopped because I never intended it for that.
Yeah.
And I intended everything, to be honest with you, to be more integral with psychology. And I think I stepped in the wrong foot when I put too much Christianity there, because my intentions was never to be, I never liked to call myself a teacher or a preacher. I wanted to be someone that was just immensely intrigued in the world. And I wanted to be relatable, as you said. And speaking on Christianity solely didn't seem to be having the effect that I wanted that effect. Not that I will stop myself from talking about it, because I clearly am talking about it right now. I love it. It's my religion, of course I do. But it's more about, you know, I view my channel as me. And yes, Christianity is part of me, but there's a lot of other things part of me. You know what I mean? So psychology, sport, UFC, soccer, all these things, that's all part of me. And I felt really bounded when I was just only talking about that. I wanted to kind of show my personality with that. I wanted to give a big shout out to, I didn't start the podcast, I'm sure you knew this. I started with my mate. So shout out to Mark. But then then Mark got busy with life, and so he backed out, and then I was just like, I don't know what to do. And that's when I kind of started to slowly phase out as well, because I wanted a helping hand with me. And
Well, it would have been one thing to do it with a friend, and then it's a completely different thing to do it without them.
Yeah. I respect you heaps for doing this by yourself, bro.
Yeah. No, well, I guess I don't really do it by myself because I bring someone to the studio every week. So I don't feel like I do it by myself, but it's like I can imagine if I had someone here with me, it would make the journey a lot more fun.
Dude, can I just say I respected that response so much?
Oh, thank you.
That is honestly, that is such a prolific response. And I don't know if people will catch on to that, but you were very self-aware. And the fact that you notice that not everything I do is not only on my own. And I think there's a lot of humility behind that, but also you'll be successful with that mentality. You know, nothing is built on my own. Isaac Newton says, I love Isaac Newton, he's another great person. He says, whatever I've done is on the shoulders of giants. Oof. And so it's a really interesting perspective that you had, because you kind of mirror what he says, which is that not everything I do is solely on me. I'm not the one that made these mics. I'm not the one that made these cameras. You know, there is more to this. I'm only just a force behind it.
Well, it's easy to feel that way. I can understand why people would. You know, it's easy to feel like you're the only person going through what you're going through. But I think reading teaches you the one thing, which is like whatever you're going through, dude, you're just joining the crowd of everyone else that's feeling the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like every problem you've got, everyone else has got, you know
That's
what
right.
I mean? Like I don't do this by myself. I get to do it with everyone who listens as well as everyone who comes over.
That's right.
Yeah, but it just feels the opposite. That's why a lot of people say it, you know.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. It's prolific. It's profound for someone to understand that, because I would understand why you wouldn't think like that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, definitely. Well, dude, I think I appreciate you saying that. I didn't even think of it at all as being self-aware.
You were.
I went, oh, I might be a little bit self-aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay, well, I can understand why you'd want to get out of doing the podcast space if that's what decided to happen unintentionally. But I did also notice that might have been your introduction to social media in the first place. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And there was a bit of a gap I noticed between, you know, let's just say episode 7 was the last one. Was that a Christmas special? Was that what that episode was?
I think so. Yeah.
So I can't remember the timeline, but let's just say there might have been like maybe even a year. Was it a year or 6 months, something like that?
Yeah, I'd say so. It was a very long period between, like, I gave up at one point. I was like,
that's a point I want to bring up then. Okay, you said gave up. Do you say gave up because you had intentions of doing the podcast, or you had the intentions of doing social media, or just being online in that sense, you know? Because to say I gave up in the sense of posting in general was, I might have said it, but that was kind of the question I was going to ask. You weren't posting anything for a very long time. So when you say you gave up, did you give up on just the podcast, or did you give up on posting online?
Well, first I want to say, you can't say I gave up without saying I gave. Well, sorry, I was just focusing on that response. What were you saying?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I noticed that you said gave up, and that's not something that I intentionally wanted you to. I wasn't thinking you gave up. I was just thinking you didn't want to do it anymore.
I mean, yeah.
Did you give up on posting, or did you just give up on the podcast? You know.
Yeah, I gave up on the concept of the podcast. No. I didn't. I always believed that it was gonna come. That's not true. That I've always had that belief that I'm gonna do well. You know. I just stopped for a bit because I guess work came through, but I was lacking motivation. But even though I lacked motivation, there was this thought in my head that I will see success in this. I will, if I keep pursuing it. And it's as simple as that, man. Like, the one thing I've found, which is everyone hears it every day, but until you do it, you don't realize how true it is that consistency works.
Bruv, it's unbelievable.
It's insane.
Yeah, I think about it all day, every day.
Yeah. And,
it's the craziest.
And okay, this is a story I heard. It's a Chinese story. Love it. You probably heard it. There was a farmer. This is actually a true story. So this is how bamboo trees actually grow. I don't know if you know this story.
I don't.
Okay, in order for a bamboo tree to grow, you have to water it when you plant the seed. You have to water it every day. Can you guess when you actually see the bamboo tree to go up?
Oh, if I was to guess it was like any other plant, I'd probably guess like a week, a month.
All right. It takes 2 to 3 years.
Huh.
Yeah. So the story goes, and it won't grow if you're not watering it daily.
Huh.
So the story goes that you're watering every day. You're not seeing progress for 2 to 3 years. Insane, right? But there's going to be that day, whether it's on the 3rd year, 4th year, whatever, you're going to see a spike. And so that story resonates with me a lot. You know,
Wow.
It's an old Chinese folk story. It's not a folk story because it's true. Bamboo trees legitimately actually grow that, it takes that long. And it's insane to see the consistency a farmer needs to have and motivation to have for 2 to 3 years, man, to water something daily with seeing nothing. You're physically seeing just dirt. You have no idea what's going under.
Yeah, you don't even know it's going to happen at the end. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, like you just have faith and hope that it's going to work. You might be watering it for nothing, dude. But it's just the belief.
Yeah, exactly. And ever since then, you know, I made it a point. Sorry, I made it a point. I started to go back on social media and I started to interview people. That's when I started to pop off. First, and I believed that I needed to post every day. I couldn't miss a single day. And I did that. I did that for about a year very consistently. I think I maybe missed a couple of days because of holidays, but even in the holidays, I tried my best to still post. And every day, bro, the thing is, I didn't see any results, man. Like, it really annoyed me. Like, bro, this post would have went viral, you know? Like, I didn't get it. But it's in that consistency, consistent. People, you know, the thing is, it's exactly what you said, by the way, going back into the beginning of what you were saying. I've seen this guy before. And it's the foundation, right? People will see you before, but there's going to be that one video where it's going to lead you to my page and you're going to be like, oh, bro, I know who this is.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have been able to have that reaction if I wasn't consistent. So you think that those small videos that don't do well won't do much to you, but they actually do.
Yeah.
They actually do.
I think a lot of people, and this is an easy example I'm going to use as a metaphor, but like, say you doing that video with James, you doing that video with Moeydoworry was the reason why I came in contact with your video, right? A lot of people would like to get into the space of social media and they're just hoping that they can be a part of, you know, something already established and collaborate that way, which, to be honest, anyone can collaborate with anyone. But if you didn't already have if you didn't create a catalog of stuff for me to go and already see, it wouldn't have created the aura in which it was to find someone who's putting in effort, bro.
Definitely,
you know?
bro. Look, here's the thing. I'm very rude and when it comes to this, but I'm very blunt. A lot of people reach out to me to collaborate. Like, I got a decent amount now because I'm a bit more established. I'm not saying I'm like, you know, whatever, how many followers I have. But I'm like now decently established to the point where people recognize me on the streets. People come to me and say, I want to collaborate with you. I'll see their page. Bro, they only have like 3 posts.
Yeah.
I'm only willing to collaborate with you. I don't care if you only have 500 followers. I'm only willing to collaborate with you if I see consistency. Dude, if you had only 1 follow-up, but I see that you have 1,000 posts, I'm collaborating with you. Because I can clearly see that there's a commitment here. You know, I don't want to... This is me integrating my Christianity, but in a philosophical way. Christ says, don't cast pearls before swine. Meaning that you shouldn't spend your value in things that seem to be of no value. You know, spend your time with something that seems to be of value. So I'm not going to cast my pearls before swine. And likewise, someone could have 100,000 followers. But if they only have 2 to 3 posts, why would I want to collaborate with you? You know, so you really got to be picky in who you work with. I don't care about the numbers. All I care about is the heart, the consistency. Because I know if you're consistent, I know you're going to do well. You're going to work with me. I'm going to work with you. And I know I'm going to look back in time and say, I'm happy. I don't regret working with you. You know what I mean?
I love that, dude. I've given him a few shout outs so far throughout the 130 something episodes I've done, but I had a fight trainer once called Josh, and shout out to Josh. He came on and did a podcast with me at the time. A podcast with me maybe like 40 weeks ago or something like that, maybe more, maybe a bit more. It was a while ago, actually, we did our episode. But I remember asking him for episode 1 because when I was a kid, I told him I wanted to have a podcast. Bumped into him a few years later. He said, did you ever end up starting it? I said, no, but if I start it, will you come be a guest? And he's like, oh, yeah, how about you just go start it first? You know what I mean? And then after, 6 months, like, hey, bro, episode 1. Oh, you want to come do it? Nothing. 6 months later, you want to come do it? About a year later, I said, hey, bro, you want to come do the podcast? And he's like, bro, I'm going to be honest with you. You're making no effort. I'm like, making no effort? I was like, bro, I post on YouTube every single week, bro. He's like, you don't even have an Instagram. You don't post nothing on there. You're not trying to tag and collaborate and create this thing. He's like, why would I come do it? He ended up saying not too long after, like, all right, this is some tips and tricks to help grow your Instagram. Start doing this and that. And then if you can do it for the next couple months, I'll come give you an episode. And to be honest, it was just like hanging out with a mate and doing it. And it's not like the episode went viral or crazy, but it was just like, it was the lesson that I needed to be taught, where it's like, I might have thought I was putting in a better effort, like behind the scenes, but there's nothing for anyone to see, bro. You know what I mean?
100%.
So I think that staying consistent, bro, is such a good point to bring up, and especially that 3-year story of the bamboo, because if I think now, like when would you say you started to get a lot more traction in your videos?
So I started being consistent last year and a half ago. My first viral video, I started 2 years ago. More consistently, I started 2 years ago. I'd say my first viral video came in a year. So I started in not a year, but like basically because I started in the beginning of the year being consistent. My only video that went viral was in December. Like
that's about this year, this last December, or
no, the December before.
Yeah,
the December before. That was my first viral video. That was this Christmas video, and then my traction came. I got a lot of followers from that. But then it died out again. Yeah, I didn't get. I think the general rule for Instagram, at least, is you need 4 videos for you to be established enough for people to have a loyalty with you.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the general rule.
Well, I think that's just like a human, probably psychological, feeling. I don't think that's a literal part of the algorithm, but I think that's just enough.
I agree.
Human psychology to be
Definitely.
like, oh, yep.
Yeah. I think there's something about 3.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but 3 seems very perfect. Maybe it's the Trinity.
Maybe it's just because of it might also be the tags, how many you can do pins, top 3,
Yeah. Like you see that number everywhere, but I think like it just really does that. It really solidifies someone's trust with you, where they will be like, I like watching this guy, because people don't realize that one of the most important things about social media is your comments. Comments show your loyalty from people. People want to talk about you. People want to actually comment about your page. They're actually interested. The numbers don't matter as much as the comments, in my opinion, because it really does show the loyalty of the people that are following you. They genuinely have an interest in what you have to say. And play that to your advantage, bro. Play with people's egos. And I'm going to reveal some tips and tricks now, but bro, I just recently posted the funniest thing ever. It was this rage bait where at least I'm not a grown man that thinks WWE is real.
I seen.
Bro, if you look at the comments,
dude, I nearly commented on that one.
The thing is, right, like I sort of believe it, but I couldn't care less. Like if you like WWE, I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's me playing with your ego. Mm-hmm. It's not only me saying that WWE isn't real, but it's also crapping on your beliefs.
Yeah.
But I did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Because I'm manipulating you to comment for me.
Yeah.
Which shows that your video is worth commenting for, which moves people to your page.
Yeah.
It creates that engagement,
It's mad, bro. It's cool. Do you know the podcast I'm actually filming right now is actually with a lad who, and this would have came out last week's episode, it's a lad who travels around Australia doing pro wrestling. That's what he does for his...
Oh, no way.
Right, so I remember seeing that video. I might have only seen it yesterday or today, and I remember thinking like, I was literally editing the video at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think he would like to see that.
Nah.
Yeah.
But bro, I couldn't care less. Like if you like WWE, bro, go hard. I don't care. But it's you need to be a little bit more of
You gotta be cheeky, bro.
You gotta be cheeky, man. You got to,
Yeah.
Because I remember this. When I started being consistent, just before that period, I was doing motivational videos. Just before it, where it would just be me and the camera, and I would use my my background, psychology, whatever, for people to be better. The thing is, I'm not trying to be cocky, but they were quite it was very deep what I was trying to say, but it didn't create engagement. I think what I like about Tate is that he's very articulate, but he creates engagement in how he speaks.
Yeah.
So he's a bit of a troll. He goes a bit further than what he actually believes in order for you to work with him and to actually pull through his numbers. So people will misunderstand. He's very misunderstood, He's just playing with you, to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And people are just falling for it.
Well, he says it himself in the most recent podcast he started doing another round lately. He did Patrick Bet David and he did Nelk Boys and he did a talk with Ken Soul.
I saw those.
In this last podcast, in the time this is posted, it would have been maybe a week or two ago. But he was saying in those that like you have to have a tornado to make a tornado. You have to have both hot and cold. Yeah, you have to have the people that are supporting you, and you have to have the people that are trying to get pissed off as well.
I like that. I like that analogy.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect, dude. I thought it was perfect. But yeah, I think I noticed it as well. I actually noticed it with people who have maybe like 40, 50, 60, 70,000 followers, and then they'll post a video and then they'll get no one commenting on their video, and I'm thinking like, so who are the people following? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like everyone that I'm following, I'm engaging with their content. That's why I'm following them. You know what I mean? I'm commenting like, wow, that looks cool. Like, that's mad. Like, well, that's dumb. Whatever I'm commenting, bro. I think to myself, like, I guess the comment section is actually the community you've grown. It's got nothing to do with the follower number, you know? Yeah. Comment section is community. Likes and follow. Likes is just people passing by.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of your character, and if you do want to do social media, I also think that you can't be this completely hot, person where you're just saying ridiculous things. You need to have a boundary where you have your morals and foundations, right? And you play with that, you work with that, you keep that still and concreted, but you also, you kind of, you push a little bit, with those boundaries, but you don't cross it. I think that's a really hard thing for people to understand. And if you don't understand it, you'll fall, you'll fail. And there needs to be that balance. It's hard to find that balance, but the first thing my advice would be is creating that foundation, which is what I did. I first had that foundation of that placid, boring tone where I was speaking facts, but I wasn't creating that heat for you to be engaged, which I think is important. Like, you need to be well-versed and understand what you're saying. If you're just saying whatever, who's going to listen to you? Yeah. Everyone's just going to say you're a joke.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I think you're learning as you do it, bro, at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, no one has there's no blueprint.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
which is the reason for consistency, by the way.
Bro, of course.
You're learning. It's not like the first thing you're going to do is going to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's not. It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Like take it. I'm sorry. Everyone loves to really perfect the first episode or the first post, whatever it is. Bro, it's going to be bad. Just accept it. Yeah. Do as much as you can, but accept the fact that it's not going to be as good as your 100th post.
And to be honest, bro, even if it's not bad, right? Let's just say it is good. In 6 months' time, you should think it's bad because you've grown so much as a creator.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that.
That's not just content. That's like painting. If you want to start building cars, if you want to start building furniture, if you want to start giving speeches at seminars, whatever.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter how much time and effort you put into it, which you should. You should put effort into what you do, but you shouldn't let the fear of it not being perfect dictate whether you do it or not, because in 6 months' time, no matter how good it is, it should be bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Which is fucking crazy, bro. Because I remember getting episode 1 of the podcast out thinking like, this is hectic, bro. This is hectic.
Yeah.
I reckon by the time I finished listening to it after I recorded it, I thought to myself, this is garbage, bro.
Yeah.
This is garbage.
For
but
sure.
I'm just so glad I posted it in the first place because like 133 weeks later, like, I think, okay, it was bad, but like it was all right.
Bro, you're here talking to me. You're rising to the top.
I made it, bro.
You made it.
I made it. Yeah, bro. I can actually hear a lot of the psychology in your analogies when it comes to content, when it comes to all these things. Like, I can hear that you have this background.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you bring it up to me before because it's starting to paint a good picture for me now.
Yeah.
Because I am really interested in the psychology, like, did you have much education before you started doing the course, or did everything you learn about psychology come from doing the course? And just I know you said the most experience you've gained and knowledge is gained from doing the work you're doing now, but did you have any history in psychology before doing the course?
Besides the course, a couple of books.
Yeah.
Number one book that I recommend reading for everyone besides the Bible is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Context for that is it's about a logotherapist who is a Jew during the time of World War II. He was eventually moved around in different concentration camps, and he was just keeping a journal during that time. He was amazing. The way he understood the world and the way he created meaning in life in such a disgusting environment he was in, the amount of suffering this guy went through is insane. He writes it down. But additionally to all of that, the fact that he still tried to find meaning is insane. And so he really integrates his logotherapy, which is an interesting form of therapy, which is, I think, someone's probably going to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Logotherapy is basically finding meaning through suffering. And so it's interesting that he was he was that, and then he was introduced to the concentration camps, and so that's one book that I really loved because he's very detailed in what he went through. So it's historical as well, and it's true. This is not just a fiction, and the way he uses it through a psychological lens is very interesting. So I really appreciate that book, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. The next book is the book that you've read as well, 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. That's the first book I've read that really helped me. And then another book which I enjoyed a lot is Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky, who was a Russian novelist, probably one of the greatest novelists that has ever existed. I don't know if you're aware of his works, but
I've heard about the book. I haven't read it, but
very interesting. It was my first time reading a fiction book because I'm not really into fiction, but he changed my mind. I love fiction now. And I really loved it because the way he creates characters and archetypes and integrates that with the world. And, you know, I read this character, I'm like, bro, I know someone like this. At the same time, I see myself, you know.
Yeah.
I think people need to be very humble in reading in life and realize that a lot of the evil they read, you shouldn't just associate it with others, but also find it in yourself. You know, that's a self-awareness that you had as well. It's such a good trick. It's a great indicator for success as well. I can guarantee you every successful man that has gone out there and become that successful person that they are had that foundation of self-awareness. They knew that there was evil in the world, but that there's evil within their hearts and that they should combat it by working to be that best possible version of themselves. You know, I can't start going to the gym without accepting the fact that I'm a skinny boy. You know what I mean? I was a skinny guy, you know, still am, but skinnier back then. So you got to accept that evil, quote unquote, in order for you to be better.
I think that it's also empathy that also helps you understand that as well, you know, but empathy can only come from the experience that you've gained in your life so far, because empathy is the output for the input that is trauma. And I've said this, I've probably said this a dozen podcasts in a row, but empathy is the output for the input that is trauma. And when you experience something, you're now able to understand what it's like for someone else to experience it. So if you've had bad thoughts or you've done bad things and then you've learned to forgive yourself, then when other people go through the same things, then you're like, oh, I've been that guy, you know what I mean? I don't condone it, but I accept it for what it is, as long as it improves, you know?
Yeah. I love that, man. I'm going to use that now. And I say something similar. I say it's understandable but not justifiable when I see other people doing certain things. Like, I understand, but it's not justifiable, right? So wrong is wrong, right is right, truth is truth. But it's understandable what you're going through. Because again, going back to me working with certain people, I've listened to insanely sad stories. You know, I'm very blessed. The stories I hear, you know, I'm more than happy. Of course, I just keep it anonymous to share those stories. Which is, there was this woman I know. I wasn't directly working with her. This was from an old place I was working at, where she went through a lot of issues. Just from early childhood, parents died. Got into the foster system, went through sexual assault, went through assault in general, and it really just, it traumatized her, man. But the person she's become today is not, you know, it's understandable. It really is. And it's very hard for anyone to, in their right mind, to be like, how dare you, you know, because, you know, now she does a lot of things that society wouldn't deem suitable, but you know, it is understandable. Look, nonetheless, as a therapist, the best way to look at it is there is wrong, there is right. You got to be firm with that, but you have to be empathetic. You have to be understanding of their circumstances, their situation. I
have personal people like that in my own life, dude. And to be honest, like, everyone I know that knows that person thinks like that's a, how do I say that? That's a bad decision-making person. I'll say that to say the least. But I know them very, very personally and well, and I just consistently think, like, I just think that it's inevitable they're going to end up like that, and it's unfortunate, and I feel bad for that person, even though they're choosing to make, you know, decisions that are going to jeopardize themselves in a way that might cause not just harm, but also respect from others. I think that what they're doing makes sense, dude, based on the circumstances, you know. It's only when you get to know someone that you understand that.
Exactly.
Very easy to throw stones, bro. Yeah. Very easy to throw stones.
Yeah.
But I think this course you would have done in psychology would have definitely helped you as as a person to help understand people on a more empathetic, not just on an empathetic level, bro, but just that's the reason why I'm interested in the first place, bro. I want to be able to understand why people are the way they are.
Yeah.
Is that some of the stuff you learned from doing it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go into two sections here. One, it's why I love comedy so much because you know my content.
I'm a biggest fan of comedy.
But I appreciate you. But that's why I love comedy.
Yeah.
Because it's a good way in revealing the psychological world in a way that it kind of tickles the soul. So, you know, people will hear me out now, the person I am, they would look at my content and be like, bro, is this the same guy? You know? But I enjoy using comedy as a way to talk to people. And I think there's a lot of strong psychological elements behind that. I honestly think comedians are one of the most intelligent people in the world.
Bro, I've listened to more comedy specials than I can count if you gave me a day, right?
Yeah.
To count them.
Yeah.
And I think that artwork of a comedy special is, it's like, it's better than singing, it's better than performing, it's better than backflipping off a center point tower with a dirt bike, bro. It's like what they're able to do. And I've been a part of many rooms where they're doing it to me. And I think to myself like, how are you taking me on this journey, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
Of education, of like revealing what I don't like about myself and making me laugh at the same time.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Like, bro, like Theo Von, like recently with this podcast, everyone's listening to this guy, bro. Is this the same guy that I was listening to with those other guys, Bobby and that, you know? You're like, bro, that guy's like a nut job. But then all of a sudden he's like spitting facts.
Yeah.
And like, people don't realize he's actually quite smart.
He was playing a character, bro.
Yeah.
Playing a character. He was the character of himself, but he was still a character.
100%.
He was making people laugh. He was the comedian. Dude.
Exactly.
That's who he was playing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I like using comedy. And another thing I wanted to add is, look, in terms of trauma, because we were previously talking about trauma, is that trauma is good if it has foundations. So I've seen many cases, and when I say not personally seen, just read, places such as the Gulag. In the Gulag during the Russian, communist Russia, religious practices were suppressed, and any clergy, so priests or bishops, went through hell in prisons during that time. Very traumatic, to the point where they really dehumanized them. So if you look up, just in modern day Slovakia, or just the general SSR, I think, area region, there are Romanian as well. There are a lot of priests that are alive today that will tell you about their experiences, and to the point where the communists used to treat them like dogs, like they dehumanized them. I think some of their teeth were bashed in. Some of them just were consistently reminded that you're not a man, you're a dog, you're an animal. Where it was just deep psychological and physical trauma, to the point. But it was insane, because when they came out, these men were one of the happiest men you ever meet. It's insane, where you can see that trauma plays a different effect with people that have foundation. And so, well, I would say is that although trauma is a very sad reality that a lot of us will go through, if you have those foundations, nothing will stop you in life. Those men that came out of that having Christ as their strength, they had that foundation. They had the truth as their foundation. And so nothing was able to stop them to drop that, you know, smile of theirs. Honestly, it really, they became very strong men. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to pass by that they probably did have some long-term effects. I'm sure that, you know, they still went through a very deeply traumatic event. But nonetheless, they did come out with something to learn, which is very interesting when you see, you know, others going through other traumatic experiences and lead a very different route in life, where they
especially a traumatic experience that may have not even been close in comparison to what they went through. You know what I mean? People's version of trauma might be like something simple, and I'm not going to discard anyone's problems, but minute. You know, what I think is minute, to them it's not minute. But
I get it. Yeah. I get what you're trying to say.
But then, you're saying that these men that had faith before encountering these problems came out so much more stronger than the people who didn't.
Which is very interesting. Like, I don't look at that from a religious point of view. I look at that from a psychological point of view, which is that, you know, it gives hope. I think that was the message I was trying to portray, that no matter what you go through in life, that if you have a foundation, if you stick to the truth, nothing will stop you from becoming that absolute gem that you are, that valuable human being that you are. And always look at the silver lining, that today may be a harsh day, but as Christ has said, he who endures to the end shall be saved. And salvation to me isn't just this one-stop shop. It's not like when I die, I go there. Salvation is conquering sin, conquering my carnal self, the anguish of my desires, the void of my heart that I always feel, this emptiness in my soul. Again, I'm integrating psychology, which is that when I have that foundation and that stability, and I'm enduring to the end, that salvation is that inexpressible joy that I have even through the hardship that I go through. Again, another biblical phrase I enjoy is that Jesus says that it's similar to a woman that is in labor. She's going through immense pain during the time she's in labor, but the joy that her child is born, she completely forgets her pain. So she has this inexpressible joy. And so people need to understand that you're going to go through hard things right now. It's going to be very difficult. And that's part of life. As humans, we are going to go through suffering. Whether you want to accept that or not, that's up to you. But you're going to go through it. But have the hope in the foundation of the truth that you will find the light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope in your life. Don't ever give up.
I love that, dude. And I want to ask you this, and I don't know if I want to ask you this from a place of your answer, from a psychological answer or a religious answer, but I'm pretty sure you're going to combine the two based on the conversation so far. But I'm always, and I said this before, playing with the idea of faith. I'm a believer in a sense where no one can convince me there isn't a God because of the experience I've had and the logical explanations I've concluded to myself. Like, I just believe there's a God. I personally have recently come back into Christianity more disciplinary in a sense, where I'm trying to go more often, reading the Bible more often. I'm making sure I go to church every Sunday. I'm praying a lot more. But one thing that I do is I find an unbelievable amount of peace when I am practicing, when I'm trying to build a connection between me and God. I'm finding a lot more, not just guidance in my life, but just comfort in general. So I'm wondering, do you think that, and is there any psychological evidence to show that the human mind has a place that's designed to have belief? You know what I mean? Like, are we meant to have faith? Are we meant to have someone to worship? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Russell Brand talks about this. I really like it. He says that we are innately designed to worship. Whether you like it or not, you're going to worship something or another. The philosophers even talk about this very interestingly enough, and I like this concept that you mentioned, peace of mind. Now, there's going to be a lot of times where we're not going to have peace of mind. I think, I'll give you a great example. I think, in fact, you're going to have more peace when you go through suffering. What do I mean by that? I always like to use this example. There was this one time I wanted to go to the monastery, only like 3 months ago. We had this feast called the Feast of the Epiphany, which is celebrating a historical moment where Christ was baptized in the Jordan. And on my way to the monastery, it's a bit far. It's in Putty. And so it's a bit of a drive. I don't know if you know Putty area.
Not sure, no.
You know Windsor Road?
Yeah.
Keep going down?
Yeah.
Keep going down.
Okay.
Keep going down.
Yeah.
But anyways, on the way down to Putty, I go down because it's a feast. It's a bit of a long vigil. And my ADHD self can't really stand too long. Yeah. But I told myself, I'm going to stand there and I'm going to just focus my best, because I always have like these intrusive thoughts when I'm praying, and I'm struggling. I'm trying to stay in the moment. It's very difficult for me. Like, take this not from a spiritual sense, just take this as a psychological sense. Me just being in the moment is a hard thing, personally, at least. Yeah, maybe it's because of social media or caffeine or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I struggle staying in the moment. And so I promised myself at that moment, I'm going to wrestle it. And I was struggling, and I really was. And I didn't have peace at all during the vigil. And it's probably like a 3-hour vigil. But I have to say, at the end of it, when I had the Eucharist and and the service ended, there was this inexpressible joy. There was this calming peace in my heart that God gave me grace. And maybe it's also a psychological reason that there is value in fighting and then having that peace, And it goes back to Christ saying, "He who endures to the end shall be saved." So don't think to yourself that it's an easy thing to just be here and you're expecting an instant peaceful presence. It's fighting. You need to fight. And again, this goes back to everything in life. You need to fight. You need to fight to have this reward. And there's more value to that reward when you are fighting. You know, I like to use this example where there are two men that go into it. The first man goes into an island. He passes by the rocks. He eventually walks by, makes a trail in the sand to the island, and he digs up in the island and he finds the treasure. He takes a little bit of the treasure and he leaves. Then there's a second man. The second man finds that trail that the first man made, follows that exact trail, sees the treasure already open, takes a bit of the treasure and leaves. Which of the men do you think would have been more happy?
Probably the man who went on the journey to find it. Yeah.
Exactly. And the reason behind that is because he struggled with it. He put more value behind the work he did in the treasure that he found. And I think it's likewise similar in all aspects of our lives, whether it's physical, spiritual, or mental. You know, you need to put in some work. You need to wrestle with God. You know, Jacob, the word Israel, which was a name given by God to Jacob, which is he who wrestles with God. You know, I don't want to get political here, but I'm just talking about the word. So we're not getting into politics.
Yeah, there you go, opening a crazy door.
No. We're staying away from that door right now. I just want to talk about that word because there is beauty in that word. And so it's an interesting aspect to understand God. A lot of other people don't like to look at God the way, at least in the Orthodox presence, it's to wrestle with God, bro. It's not this instant feel-good religion. It's much more stoic in its approach. It's, I'm going to struggle. I'm not going to always get what I want, but I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to commit. And every Sunday may not feel like the day that I'm going to feel it, but I'm still going to come. And it's exactly like the gym, man. There are going to be days where you're like in the zone. You're going to want to lift every weight possible. You're going to want to bench the highest bench. You want to hit your PR. Then there's going to be those days. Leg day.
yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Wednesday,
exactly. Everyone's but you're not motivated. There's going to be that dry period. But both you and I know that it's the dry period in where you'll find the most reward. In where you finish that workout, where you know you didn't feel like doing it, but when you still did it, you found more value in the workout.
Yeah, after the sense is done, because you went through a bigger journey to get to the end destination.
Exactly.
Well, I noticed that you were using the word fight, and it was a good analogy to use. You fight the feeling to stay present in the moment and to wrestle with God. But I was just hearing the same thing we were talking about before when it came to staying consistent with content, because you know in the end you're going to get the end result you're looking for, you know? I think fighting and trying to wrestle with God is just another way of analyzing, like, being consistent with the decision you decided to go for from the beginning, you know? And that's all fighting is. It's just it's not allowing anything to come into your way, you know what I mean?
And the correlation between the two is an indication of the truth.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, listen to what I just said.
Okay, I'm trying to understand
the correlation of social media, that you use some aspect here with a different aspect here, and you saw that there is an integration here, proves that it's the truth. Which further proves...
That's a great concept. I'm going to think about that a lot.
Yeah, and people need to understand that the truth is very complex. But at the same time, truth will get you into tangents, and they'll all connect at the same time. That's what the truth is.
Well, truth, I guess, if you want to take scientific evidence, truth is just enough evidence based on multiple different experiments to prove that that's the right thing. So you take the correlation between multiple things, they all say the same thing, you say that's the truth. You just have one piece of evidence that's going to lead you towards that. You can't justify it. You know what I mean? Because anything can disprove it.
Yeah.
It's not until multiple things prove it together.
Exactly.
And I look at life like that, and I've looked at life like that for a very long time. Like I find the relation between things that just don't relate. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
My apprenticeship that I went through, my first apprenticeship was like, I found the relation that I get between the tradesman teaching me how to do what I'm doing to then me becoming a tradesman teaching the apprentice to what he's doing. I can't think of an example right now, but I'll find the relation between that and content. I'll find the relation between that and podcasting. I'll find the relation between that and, you know, just playing music, bro. Whatever I want to do, I'll find a way to find that. So it's funny to know that the truth is hidden somewhere inside of that. The truth.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm going to play with that. You gave me like the greatest thing to...
Which does help my case for Christ.
Yeah.
Everything that Christ has said, I found very relevant in all aspects of my life. Not just simply the biblical sense, like really business, gym, everything. I can see Christ in this. I really can. And so Christ claims to be the way, the truth, and the life. And so when you see this, when you understand Christ as the truth, Man, it changes because people look at the Bible very two-dimensional. Man, it's very multifaceted. What is the truth? You know, the one person that really was taken back by when Christ mentions truth is Pontius Pilate. And so there's actually a scene in the gospel and Christ doesn't respond back to him, but it's very interesting. And Passion of the Christ, the movie, plays it really well. And there's a scene. I recommend you watch the movie if you haven't. But there's a scene where Pontius Pilate just goes to him, what is truth? And everyone yearns for the truth. You know, this goes back to our just the everyday today lives. Everyone yearns for the truth. The truth is beautiful. It's complex, but it's hard to fathom sometimes. And at the same time,
it's hard for me to define the word. What does that even mean? I know what you're saying, but I don't know how to define it any other way than it is.
Well, we use, again, you want to go back to the conformity of the pagan world or the Gentile world, whatever you want to call it, to the Christian world. John does a good job in that, where he calls Christ the Logos. And I get annoyed because the translation doesn't do it right. But if you read in John 1, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Look, it's not word. The original manuscript is Logos. Logos is actually a pagan word that John used to explain Christ. Logos was actually, I forgot the philosopher's name. I forgot his name, but it was made by a philosopher, and the Greeks really loved it and just kept with it, where they believed that there was this rational truth, but they couldn't define it, so they said it was called Logos.
Oh, it's like the Force in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's sort of. Yeah. There's this being that's there, that's present, this rational truth, but we can't put our finger to it. So John came in and he said, that Logos that you're talking about, that's Christ.
Yeah.
He is the Logos. So again, this is integrating Christ in the culture. You see this everywhere, you know? So I don't want to go heavy on the Christian side, but yeah.
Dude, trust me, dude. I know that we're trying to make it the podcast for everyone to listen to as well, but I hope you understand that I'm genuinely enjoying this Christian part of what the podcast is, because like it's something that I don't get to have very often in my own life.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it is a big part of your life as well, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And I know what it's like to not want to put too much of one side of your, not just beliefs, but personality on the internet as well, because I'm constantly struggling with that as well.
Even, I try to make it digestible by using psychology as well. That's also another reason why I like using psychology, because everyone yearns for meaning. Yeah. Everyone's yearning for the truth. Everyone's yearning for these things. Like genuinely, people, like when I first was doing content, a lot of it was just like very self-help sort of stuff. Man, like the amount of people that are like, you kind of changed my mind, bro. Like I like the way perceive things. So I can see clearly people are yearning for it, man. They really are. So I like it to make it digestible.
Everyone's yearning for it, bro? Like I think that as a general statement, all people want to do is to be entertained. And some of my mates argue the fact that all people want to do is be distracted. And maybe to say distracted means to be from the fact that they're looking for the meaning, they're looking for the truth, they're looking for all these things. But I think only a certain few people really are looking for the truth. You know what I mean? And that I might be wrong. I just don't know if I have this conversation with that many people. I think that if that many people were looking for it, we'd have a lot more books and movies and stories to try and discuss it.
I think social media has played a very big negative impact on what you're saying. I think I agree with you. I think social media, as much as I love it because I use it, it really is it is a devil in this aspect that it stopped people from being creative, one. And this is now me, my psychological side. What is the first thing that you do when you're bored?
Honestly, I know where this question's going. I hate to admit it, but I'd instinctively pull up Instagram.
Yeah, and so do I.
Yeah.
The thing is, but I'm very curious. Now I'm curious. What was the moment that you thought, I'm going to create Doxcast?
To be honest, bro, it's a puzzle that has a million pieces to define. Like, to be honest, the reason why I started the Doxcast in the first place was the experience I got listening to Joe Rogan, having the amount of people that he's spoken to over the time.
But the thought. What was the thought? The thought that just came in your head.
Okay.
The point I'm trying to prove is, and I hope I am going to prove it, I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Is that, at least from in my end, that thought came from me being bored.
Yeah.
I was bored one day, I was restless at night, and it just came in my head.
Yeah, I would say it would be from, and it's the same, it's just a different definition, but wanting more. It might be the same thing as being bored, wanting more.
Yeah. I think that still goes hand in what I'm trying to say. When I'm bored, I go on my phone. But do you realize how much that's going to stop you from creating these grand ideas?
Oh, dude.
So
what about grand exploration? Like, that's what people are doing. Like, I can pull out my phone and see videos of people jumping out of a plane, and I reckon in my mind I feel like I did it when I watch them do it, bro.
For sure.
Because I feel good.
Yeah. I mean, this goes back to, apparently you get the same dopamine effect of talking about your goals and actually doing your goals, which stop a lot of people from actually doing their goals because they feel like they already hit it.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So this moral of that story is stop telling people your goals. Start doing them. Don't talk. Bro, I do it as well all the time. Oh my God. You know how many ideas I've had that I speak to my boys, this entrepreneurial idea, bro, this business is going to work. I don't do it because I already got that high from actually saying it to the boys, and I was really detailed with them, which I think this is why I got more of a high from it. You know, I made a very clear plan, but I think it's just, it fell through because I just got that hit. I didn't need to do it.
Yeah.
And it's likewise with social media, man. Like, everyone sees it and they're just experiencing what you experience and probably getting that same high. So they're not like, I'm not going to do, you know, that thought of me creating a podcast or going out there, doing things, being present, being in the moment, that's not there because social media has taken that away from us, that creative side that a lot of humans did have, but I'm seeing people like, it's dropping, man. Yeah. People aren't that creative.
And I think that people aren't looking for the truth, bro, because of that reason. You know what I mean? I think that most people aren't even aware that they're missing something in their life, bro. I think that all social media is a way to distract us and entertain us at the same time. But from what? You know what I mean? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to be? Why do we want to pull up social media? Like, what are we not getting if we don't? That's the biggest question I ask myself. If I don't, it's a bit different contributing towards a machine. Like, I have a pursuit in what I'm trying to do, but if I'm just mindlessly scrolling, I think to myself, what would I be doing if I wasn't, bro? And that's a fun question to ask yourself, bro. Sometimes I just lock it and find out, bro, because who knows?
Yeah, 100%. And it goes back to that self-awareness. The first step into improvement is that self-awareness, right? That the simple asking yourself, why am I doing this? Bro, honestly, it will lead you to so many places. You'll become so successful in life. Honestly.
I think self-improvement, bro. Once you open that door, that is the most addicting. And it's like, bro, to be honest, I'm the perfect person to be speaking about this because, like, I have been an addict in the past. Like, to be honest, I practice right now the act of sobriety, and I've been doing it for like 29 months this month because I know what it's like to pick something up and then just want to just keep doing that over and over and over again. But as soon as you decide to pick up the feeling of trying to better yourself, you just can't stop. Like, what else? What vitamins? What books? What songs? What podcasts? Like, how many reps? How far can I run? Like, where's the money? Give me the money, bro. You know, like, bro, it's addicting. Self-progression is the most addicting thing I've ever been addicted to, bro.
Yeah, that's so good, bro.
Yeah, I think that if you're spending too much time online, bro, you're never going to open the first door to self-improving because you've got everything you need, bro.
Exactly.
You're laughing, you're crying, you're pissed off, you're angry, you're excited.
And how unhealthy is that? Because, like, at one point you can be really happy at some video and there's, like, this next video that's so depressing. Like, how unhealthy is that you have that emotional instability? Bro, you become a woman.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Facts. Absolutely.
Keep that in, all right? All right.
I got you. Well, how do you feel then being a part to play? And this is a question that I ask a few people. Like, how do you feel being a part to play in what the negative side of having social media is? You know, I'm always battling that with myself.
Yeah, me too. I'll be honest with you. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know. You know, because I don't want to be. It's weird because, like, I want to be someone that practices what he preaches. And I'm a big advocate of staying away from social media, but you know what I do, you know? I don't know. Well, I genuinely don't know.
I want to say something for you then, since you say I don't know.
Yeah,
but I have noticed with your social media posts that I was well aware that I was going to have a discussion to do with Christianity and Christ. Is it Christianity? Is that what you still consider it? Is it okay if I say Christianity?
Yeah.
I say Christianity, but the word is it not optic?
Coptic
Orthodox.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just say Christ, right? I knew I was going to have a conversation with Christ about you because I see it a lot in your posts. And even though you're not, and I did hear this on Hope 103.2.
Oh, yeah.
Where you said that you're not running a Christian-based social media. You're running a social media as a Christian.
Yes.
And as you told me earlier in this episode.
Bro, you've done your research.
As you told me earlier in this episode, what you thought one of the great things the disciples did is they went to people and they spoke to them and they integrated themselves within them already, right? So even though social media already exists, I can see that you're sending this message out through the reality in which people are already being a part of.
Yeah.
So I think you're doing a pretty similar thing to what the disciples were doing, bro.
Oh, bro, I appreciate you.
Modern day age.
Yeah. And bro, that's exactly what I was trying to do, and I appreciate that you're recognizing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really just it's indirectly trying to. Yeah, it's just being indirectly. I'm a relatable guy, and I'm always going to show that relatability. And I'm going to have my Christian ethics behind it. But yeah, I'm a normal guy just like everyone else who lives a normal life just like everyone else from Sydney, man. I'm no greater than anyone else, you know? And it's as simple as that. I just have something that I'm really excited to share, but I don't want to be that also guy that seems sanctimonious. So Christ does it really well as well with his parables. I love it because these parables are not directly theological. I did mention that in Hope 103 too. I don't know if they edited it or not. But yeah, I mentioned it. I said Jesus does a really good way in speaking about it. Like, he speaks to people without even using the word God in the parable sometimes. So sometimes he does, but majority he doesn't. He'll just talk about the farmer, the wives, the marriage, the wedding, like very normal things that all of us go through that are not really religious, right? And he integrates that with God in it. You find it, but it's not direct, which I love. You know, he does such a good job. And obviously he does a good job. He's God, you know, but yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. I like that you just mentioned the fact that you feel like, you know, I'm just a normal guy doing this normal stuff, right? Because I want to ask about the normal human feelings that are felt behind the scenes when it comes to making content, right? Because people only know you from the post they see, but having the experience I have and also sitting down and talking with so many people who do the same thing, I've noticed that there's not much difference between the people posting the video and the people watching the video. So I want to know what it's like being the type of guy who goes up to people with a microphone in public in the shopping center and says, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Like, how does that feel? How does it feel making those videos?
Look, I took the question differently, but...
Okay, how did you think the question was coming?
How has social media affected me?
Okay, I'll ask that after.
Okay. I do put in a bit of a character as well, because you need to, because we're talking about that. And if you come and sit with me and talk with me, I am a bit different guy, I'll be honest with you. I do think that. I think that's necessary, you know.
But what about the feelings? And I asked this question, right, because to do street interviews, which is something that I think is not that scary of a thing to think of doing, asking people, but I think a lot of people struggle to say anything to strangers in public, whether they have a camera and a microphone or not. People aren't confident enough to go up and just talk to random people. Now you put a camera there and, you know, let's just say you're there. Are you there with a tripod? Are you there by yourself? Are you there with other people?
Usually tripod, but sometimes it's a mate, but... Because I don't want to...
Having a tripod, going up to people in a shopping center, you're putting yourself on display, not online anymore.
At first it was...
You're on display in real life. Bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How does that feel?
Yeah, okay, no, fair enough. Okay. I never really got over it in the fact that I never really got used to it. Maybe there were days where I'll get used to it, but then there'll be back to days where I'm equally as nervous as I was in the first day.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But I get like... Maybe the ratio in the beginning was 10 rejections to 1 yes before I actually got someone. So I like that. I really did enjoy the rejections because it kind of, like, you know, I feel a bit better, you know. Oh, thank God you don't want to do this because, you know what, bro, I don't think I'm ready. But at the same time, it's like, bro, people are going to say no, and that's fine. So and then once you get that person that does say yes, you know, they're the ones that are confident. So you're filtering it in. And so they're confident, you're confident, you're helping each other. And yeah, it just goes like that. It is scary when there's a tripod than when there's a person.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that with a tripod, I'm more likely to get kicked out of the shops.
Yeah.
Bro, I've gotten the amount of times I've gotten kicked out, man, it's so annoying.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's crazy because your videos are very lighthearted. There's no like...
It doesn't matter.
You're not creating an uproar inside a shopping
center.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Public nuisance or anything.
I know. But yeah, they don't care. Yeah. I think it's because of there's a nuisance that it's just like they don't know what I'm doing and they don't have time to see what I'm doing. Yeah. You're getting out.
Yeah. I guess maybe they can make up the rules. Maybe you're not meant to be filming inside shopping centers. I don't even know.
No, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Like, honestly, that's one thing I don't mind breaking the rule for.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, I think, bro, it's crazy because I think a lot of people think that people posting videos, I've had this discussion a couple of times recently on the podcast. A lot of people think that the people posting the videos are this crazy, confident, like no nerve feeling kind of individual.
That's a good point. The amount of... Okay, so I don't want to out him because I love him. I love him. This is like I'm mates with some couple of big guys, like really big guys out there. But bro, when I just speak to them,
can you tell me and I won't put it in?
Oh yeah, for sure. So do you know for example, she's very shy.
I don't know who.
She's got about like 500,000 on TikTok.
Wow.
She's very shy in real life. Like she doesn't do public videos. Yeah. But there's a lot of people that are actually quite shy in real life. Like another one, and honestly, I want to give a big shout out, but I don't want to like it's not a reputation to wreck. He's a genuine guy. I love him so much. I was only on like 500 followers at the time, and I used to do a lot of videos with Andy the SK. Andy, I don't know if you know Andy. He's got like 4 mil on TikTok.
Wow.
And he was humble enough to work with me at 500 followers, and we used to just record each other like for content.
Wow.
And he was very down to earth. Like we used to just have lunch together, talk about the content, like how I can prove, he's giving me advice. But bro, the amount of very down to earth people I found, at least in the Australian community, is insane and shy as well. Like, oh bro, I thought you'd be a bit more, rowdy.
I've also found that to be true, that everyone that you think is going to be this crazy charismatic person, which they are, like I'm not saying that you're not, so everyone else that I've encountered isn't this highly energetic person, but they still feel nerves and social anxiety and all these things that come from making videos.
yeah.
And I think that's a fun battle to play, bro. I think it's another reason why I'm so glad I'm involved in this content creation journey. And to be honest, I feel like I've literally only just started. I've been making Instagram videos now for like 4 weeks, bro. And it's like, I can't wait to see what, YouTube I've been doing for 2.5 years, but Instagram videos, like, I've only made like 4.
Can I give a quick tip on your Instagram videos? I love it. I want you to do the captions where they're not, like the font style is not relevant to modern day podcasts.
Okay.
They're using the CapCut captions, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. I'd say make them more formal.
Yeah.
I think it gives a bit of a better twist to it, because it just seems like I can clearly see this from CapCut. Like my videos are from CapCut as well.
Yeah.
But also don't put every word in or every caption.
Yeah.
I noticed that I like to put captions in certain moments. Don't because then people are just gonna watch the captions. But if you put the captions here and there, people are more attentive to it.
Because I do find that when I'm watching my own video back, I'm watching my own captions.
Yeah.
That's a good point to make. Actually, I will start changing that up. I just found the one font and I just kept using the one.
Yeah,
font.
fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah, it's fun, bro. I can't wait to just see how it feels over time, seeing how those nerves goes. How does it feel today, making more and more videos, like doing your street interviews? And I've seen that you did one with, I can't remember how long ago I seen it because I was doing research, but you did one with Jamie Zoo.
I did one with Jamie Zoo, yeah.
Was that a recent one? Was that a bit
it was recent, fairly recent.
Yeah, like how does it feel now making videos, doing interviews, as opposed to how it felt in the past? The same kind of nerves, or has it changed over time?
No, not with I never get nervous when I do videos with big people, to be honest with you. The only nervous person I actually got was Volkanovski.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Big shout out, because that's one of my greatest. Yeah, I'm so happy that I did an interview with Volk, bro. Crazy.
Yeah.
He was so humble. I want to give a big shout out to him because it was a meet and greet, and when I was speaking to him, the Seki was like, no, you can't do it. And he goes to the Seki, it's all right, let him do the video.
Wow.
What a legend, bro.
What a legend.
There's so many people waiting for you. And mind you, he was 1 hour overdue, so he was meant to leave an hour ago.
Wow.
So he was still happy to do the interview. Honestly, a man like that, I don't blame him if he goes to me, nah, man.
Yeah, he's like,
but he did.
What
a legend, Yeah, he's a very humble person.
Yeah, what a champion. It's crazy the positions you find yourself getting into, just by putting in effort, Like you trying to get Volkanovski to talk to you and ask questions.
And when
like
I did the video of Volk, mind you, I didn't have that many followers. I had maybe 2,000 followers. And so it's exactly what you're saying, bro. If you just start, the opportunity, and that's a psychological thing as well. And I'm sure you've probably seen this video. If I ask you right now to see all the objects here green, find all the green objects here.
Yeah. You're
going to find things that aren't really green but close to green, right? So when I'm trying to be successful or look at a certain niche, target market, I'm going to find every opportunity I possibly can in order for me to do better. So when I heard that Volk is coming and doing a meet and greet, I took that opportunity. Whether or not I was risking that I wasn't going to get this interview and it was far away, I didn't care. So my mentality changed to meeting Volk, oh, it's so cool, to meeting Volk, oh, this is a good opportunity for me to do a video with. You know, I think it's a bit unhealthy at the same time, because now a lot of the times I'm with my mates and I'll go, bro, that's a good video idea. And they just want to chill, you know? But again, it's just it's a psychological thing of when your eyes focus on a goal, everything becomes that goal. Your atmosphere honestly becomes that goal.
I find that personally, I have so many different goals and dreams and visions and plans, and I'm trying to do so many things at the same time that nothing is clear. You know what I mean? Everything is an open book for me to start writing. It doesn't matter what. Like a lot of people say this to me lately. Like, you got to start visualizing what you want. Yeah. And I struggle with that concept, bro. I don't know what I want, bro. Like, when it comes to anything, like, I'm just always like, yeah, whatever happens, happens. Let's just figure it out as we go. Yeah. But yeah, I like the way you paint that picture, because I'd like to be able to start looking for the opportunity inside of what I'm already doing, you know? Yeah. That's kind of my goal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It'll come, man. It'll come. Like, the fact that you're doing it, it'll come.
Yeah,
you know?
I think so too.
Yeah. I think in terms of how social media has affected me, but yeah, that's something that I did want to cover. I'm trying to be as humble as I can, but it's very hard. That's one thing I struggle. Yeah. Because people are now recognizing me. And when I go to random streets, like, bro, dude, I got recognized in Gold Coast. That's so weird for me. Like, yeah, Sydney was not, okay, but like, yeah, I'm used to it now. People know me in Sydney. But when I went to Gold Coast, I had like 2 or 3 people, obviously not a lot, but like for Gold Coast it is, you know, recognize me. And I was like, that's what? And it's playing with my ego, man. It really is. And it's so hard, man.
But okay, why do you think it's hard in a sense where it's playing on your ego? Like, do you feel like it's compromising your values that you already have?
Yeah, man. Like I want to, I know this sounds unhumble, but if you get to know who I am quite a down-to-earth person. I'm not very cocky or egotistical. So I do think I am a bit humble in certain things. But I don't... I get prideful when I see people... Now... Sorry, I'm going to burp because...
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Now... sorry, bro. now, because everyone recognizes me, even people that don't recognize me, it's playing with my head. He knows who I am. He knows who I am. That's interesting. When I go down the streets or in the shops, my head is literally thinking, who knows me, who doesn't, you know? And it's so sick, bro. That's not a good way to it's very unhealthy, and I'm trying to combat it, but...
Maybe. I wonder why. I wonder why you think it is, because I don't know the answer either. I wonder why you think it's unhealthy to wonder whether people know who you are or not. It's not like you're saying, like, everyone here knows me. You're just wondering whether they do or not, you know?
No, yeah. Definitely.
Because my friend said to me, someone came up to me at the gym this week actually, and he says, oh, hey bro, I just watched the podcast, you know, like, it's cool, like, you're that guy I just seen on Instagram. And it's happened a very few amount of times to me, because YouTube's a different market. And now that I'm focusing on Instagram, I'm noticing it a bit more. Yeah. But it's like, I love the feeling. I think it's an incredible feeling. It's appreciation for the efforts you've put in.
Yeah.
But my mate said to me at the gym, he goes to me, he's like, oh, that's the first guy to recognize you at the gym. And I just said, no, it's not. He's the first one to come up to me.
I like that.
And it's like, yeah, that's a cocky dick thing to say, bro. But I don't feel bad that I think it. Like, whatever, bro. You know?
Nah, yeah, no, I get it, bro. Like, honestly, I've told my boys, like, one of my biggest goals, and it's a small goal, but one day we're at the beach, right? I love the beach. I'm always at the beach.
I see a lot of videos at the beach.
Yeah, I love the beach, bro.
Yeah. Bro, I'm too white for that shit, bro. I've got two colors, see-through and lobster.
bro, if you're in it long enough, trust me, bro, I've seen the whitest guys become like these tan.
Yeah, nah,
you know?
But must be injections, bro.
I don't know, probably is, bro. But one of my goals when I was at the beach is I look left and right and it's packed, and I'm just like, I kind of want everyone to know who I am. Yeah. It is it is definitely something I want, you know, because not to know me, but to know my work. Yeah. And that is definitely a goal of mine. Like, to the point where there'll be a day where I'll come to the beach and everyone will know, yeah, that's TGF.
Yeah, bro, that's a mad goal, bro. That's not a bad ego-driven, prideful thing.
It can play with you, but
I guess it can if you start to let that play on the fact whether you think, you know, I'm not saying you do think this, do not take this the wrong way. But if anyone starts to think to themselves as better than someone else because more people know who they are or not, then obviously it will become a problem. But I said to one of my mates the other day, and he said to me on the phone, he says to me, he's like, I remember being in school, and you said to me in like year 7 or something, he's like, you're like, I'll be famous one day. And he just laughed at me. He just said, you're not going to be famous. And it's like, I never let go of that goal. Like I've always had that goal. I haven't been, I might not have been putting in the effort, but now I'm like, okay, I can see it, bro. I'm going to just charge it. Why not? I'm going to become, bro, I'll become famous. There's no question in my mind now that I won't.
Yeah.
And I don't know. But at the same time, I also understand that every single person that I encounter is someone to learn from. I don't think that I'm better than anyone just because more people know who I am. In fact, the more people, it's crazy to me sometimes. Like I'll say to someone like, bro, some people say like, bro, it's crazy that I'm on a podcast right now. And I'm thinking, why are you thinking it's crazy you're on a podcast? I'm the one thinking it's crazy that you're on my podcast. So it's like, it's just perspective, bro.
Yeah. That is interesting. I mean? Yeah, for sure.
But it's interesting. I might take it as a grain of salt as well. Maybe don't let too much ego come into play. But my question is like, what is ego then? What is the bad part of fame?
I mean, I guess it's more of a cultural thing. Like my community isn't big on pride, big on putting yourself out there. So what I'm doing right now is really weird.
Yeah.
Like, my community isn't big on that. We're very stoic. We're very, do your work, and that's it. You know, and I really appreciate that. And they got a crazy good work ethic. They don't like very neurotic behavior, and I get that, and I don't blame them for good reason at the same time, because there's a lot of crazy people, right? Very creative people that become very bad people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of good things have come from a lot of crazy people. You know, it requires creativity in order for you to create a riot, to create a revolution, to create something better, that renewal. You know, the apostles were crazy in my opinion.
100%.
You know, great. All the philosophers, or all these guys, they're crazy. You know, and by the way, I was doing my studies recently, and you notice that a lot of the geniuses out there had a weird quirk behind them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you knew this, but Nikola Tesla, crazy smart guy. He was obsessed with pigeons for some reason. And he was very
he was in a relationship with one.
Oh, right. Okay.
He was. He had a wife pigeon, I think. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure.
No, maybe. I think I did hear about that. But like every single one of them were weird, honestly. There's another one called Diogenes. He used to walk around the streets of Greece. He was a very big philosopher, naked. What? You know, they all had their quirks, I guess. You know, I understand that. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to condone that. Don't walk around the streets naked, guys.
Yeah.
But, you know, they had their quirks, but they were very intelligent, very smart, and they were very creative.
Yeah. Maybe that's a interesting thing about what being great and smart is. Maybe it's just thinking differently to other people that makes people smart. You know what I mean? Maybe smart isn't necessarily your capability of putting information together faster than anyone else or at a larger scale. Maybe it's just thinking in a different pattern than other people. That
Yeah. You know, you're 2-dimensional and I'm 3-dimensional sort of thing. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
100%.
Or what if we're both 3-dimensional? It's just I'm just sitting in a different world than that person.
Yeah, I get you.
Bro, it's so cool that and I never expected this side of you where it comes to philosophy and history and all these things, bro.
Yeah.
It's fucking so cool.
Yeah. I mean, you're so interested in Egyptian like history. Another cool thing, have you heard of the School of Alexandria?
Not the School of Alexandria, no.
So the School of Alexandria, or the Library of Alexandria,
I know about the library.
The library. So there is two things. There is the School of Alexandria, which was prolific for its theological work, and it was influenced by the Library of Alexandria. The reason why Egyptians became so great in everything they did, you know, we don't even know to this day, and I'm sure you know this, how we made the pyramids.
Yeah,
you know?
I only have theories.
But my father's made it, not aliens. I want to make that very clear, very proud of that. But the reason why they were so great is because they were able to learn from so many cultures through the Library of Alexandria. So the Library of Alexandria, what they used to do is people from different cultures used to come, and the rule was, before you come, we take all your documents, we write it down in Coptic, and then we trace that, record that, and keep that in our library. So we had documents from the Golden Age, from every age period. Sorry, not the Golden Age. That's much later, before it got burned down. Got burned down by the Roman Empire, which is quite annoying. But
quite annoying to say the least.
Yeah,
more like, you know, global tragedy.
Yeah, legit. And by the way, did you know? I don't know if you know this, but if it never burned down, we would have been 3,000 years in advance today.
What?
Yeah, that's how.
When you say what burned down, the Golden Era?
The library. The Library of Alexandria.
Why would we be 3,000 years in advance?
Apparently, what they had was so advanced, we would have been...
That it took that long to gain that information back?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how advanced they were. That apparently.
Damn, bro.
Yeah. So it would have answered how we built the pyramids. It would have answered a lot of things, right?
Damn.
Yeah. So Library of Alexandria was amazing. But the story to learn about the Library of Alexandria is they were humble enough to learn from anything and everything. You know, there's a saying that goes, happy is he who lives a disciple all of his life, learning more than teaching, increasing in knowledge daily. It's better to learn than to teach, to preach. And I like that a lot because you're going to become more successful in that way. It goes back to what you were saying in like, I'm here, I'm learning with you, we're growing together. And that's why the Library of Alexandria was so great. They just learned from anyone, man.
You know what I'm starting to think, and I've only just had this thought. I'm pretty sure others would have had it in the past before, but if the Library of Alexandria was so great, which so many people have prophesized that it was, right? Like, why would they not have a safekeeping and a double document somewhere else? Why would they not have an emergency thing? Just like, they're smart enough to know that anything can happen, bro. Like, as if there's no, and I wonder how many people are looking for the double copies of the Library of Alexandria.
We started, bro, honestly, this is me going to be a bit misogynistic, but we honestly, the Egyptian dynasty fell because of Cleopatra.
Yeah, of course.
You know? And bro, that's what happens when you have a woman in leadership, bro. I'm sorry, but I'm really angry. She's not even Egyptian, bro.
I've got to be honest, bro. I have respect for Cleopatra. Like, I think she finessed, bro. Like, she was the main character in her own story.
That's true, bro.
Far.
That's true. That's true.
It's crazy, bro. Because I like Robert Greene. He's one person I love reading about, Robert Greene, and he had a big story about the art of seduction, and he talked about Cleopatra and her way to seduce people and get what she wants out of life. I think it might not be right, but you did it good. You know
no, for sure. But the problem is, what I didn't like is that she let the Roman Empire come in.
Yeah.
And then that kind of infiltrated the Egyptian dynasty. And then,
bro, I genuinely think like they must have got the documents double printed as safekeeping somewhere else, bro. Like that. They're too smart to not have.
I don't know.
That,
look, we're learning new things every day. Like I think we just found coffins or sarcophaguses recently in one of the pyramids. So we're learning. We don't even know what's inside the pyramids. Apparently, you could get lost. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy because it's like we only know about the 5 main ones, but I think in Giza there's like 137 pyramids that they've found so
I mean,
far.
there's heaps in Sudan as well. Actually, so my dad's from Sudan, born in Sudan. We got generations in there, but then originally from Egypt. But there's a lot of pyramids in Sudan as well.
Yeah, bro. I think it's crazy. I heard a great theory that all of the, and I want to know what you think as well, because I guess it's kind of your culture. Like they reckon that a lot of the stuff was already there before the Egyptians came. How do you feel about that theory?
Bro, I get triggered, bro. Oh my God. Yeah, man. Like, bro, look, I don't know how we got dumb, but we did this. All right. We don't know how we did it, but we did it. All right. So we're just going to keep it like that.
Yeah, it's cool. Bro, honestly, I think it's one of the greatest. I can't wait to go. Have you ever been to Egypt?
4 to 5 times.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. No, I've been to the
pyramids.
I've been to the pyramids.
Damn, bro. Yeah. Can you explain to me what it's like seeing them in person? Because it's on my bucket list. But
dude, okay, it's insane.
Yeah.
If you look at the foundations of the pyramids, you will see cuts. And I saw with my own eyes. There are cuts that are perfectly straight. It's insane. I do not know how they did it. They said that.
And even the foundation. That's the first one.
That's the foundation.
Wow.
It's not perfect cuts for the pyramids themselves.
Yeah.
But the foundation are perfect, which is insane, right? Additionally to that, every single block is a different size in the pyramids. So for you're in the trade, you need perfect size in order for you to have a stable foundation. Stable building. But somehow they managed that every dimension was different, but still managed to have a stable pyramid for lasting this long till this day.
Yeah.
Cleopatra is closer to our time than she is to the pyramids.
Yeah, bro. That's crazy.
Insane.
That's crazy. They reckon that the pyramids are like 3,500 years old. But bro, I just can't see why it can't be older, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, bro.
I can't get over it, man. I can't.
I just want to be able to see the sheer size in which they are. I need to see that.
Yeah, dude, it's huge. It's humongous, man.
And so I heard that there's like, you got like the pyramids and stuff, and if you turn around, you got like KFC. Is that real? Like it's like if you're looking at them, you think it's gonna be like the middle of a desert, but you turn around and you got like, you know, like first world,
sort
like
of,
third world kind of thing.
kind of like from a distance. Nah, you're still
From
in
a distance.
You're still in a decent like place where there's a decent amount of desert. The only thing I'd tell you, bro, is just be careful with and I'm okay with going against my Egyptian brothers and sisters over there, but bro, they're scammers, man.
Oh yeah,
They'll scam you, bro. With that color, man, they're gonna scam, bro. With me as well, they'll scam. They hear my Arabic and they'll go, yeah, he's not from here. I'm gonna scam this guy. Honestly, it's insane. So you got to be careful with that when you go there, bro.
Yeah, I know they used to take people up on tours. People used to climb them and stuff like that. I think it's too hard nowadays to be able to do it, but I think it's on my bucket list, bro.
Yeah. Oh, bro.
It apparently doesn't take too long. Apparently you can get to the top within an hour. Pretty
What,
easily.
like top of pyramids? Oh, you're not allowed.
Yeah, I know you're not allowed, but apparently there's like those scammers that will like do it. For, you know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I know that might be offensive coming there. I don't want to be stepping on anything.
No, dude. If there's a chance that I can do it, I'm taking the chance. 100%, bro. You know how cool that would be. Yeah. Like, bro, I saw this video where a dog was on the top. Did you see that?
Nah,
bro. Someone was paragliding, and in their video. And bro, they found a dog on the top of the pyramid. Like, what's it doing there, bro?
Wow.
Yeah.
Apparently, Alexander the Great said that when he got to the pyramid and he stood inside it, he said that it changed his whole perspective. He said he felt the energy in that room, and apparently that's what brought him to the end of his conquest over the world.
Wow.
No,
I didn't know that.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That's great because he was doing good before that.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Oh, so how much in the religion is there to do with the ancient Egyptians before the time of Christ? Is there much? I know you have a lot of things that they adopted, but is there much in the belief system as well?
No. All the belief systems are gone. Like, you know, because again, we don't believe in Osiris or Ra or anything, or the gods. But the traditions are still kind of kept, you know. So, for example, there's a little tradition that we keep before baptism. What the pagans, the pharaohs used to do is they used to put fruits around the baby basket, and they used to shake the baby. And obviously that's a bit pagan, so we didn't like that. So we put a twist in that, and we just had prayers. So there's a lot of pharaonic traditions we have that we just put a twist with it, where we say, okay, but we're just going to put Christ in this, you know? Because obviously there's a lot of wrong things that they did as well, like child sacrifices and all that stuff, which, you know, that's not okay.
Crazy, yeah.
Crazy,
bro.
You know? But yeah, we always put that twist with Christ in it. And yeah, like there's also like, we like using parsley a lot. Parsley, during funeral prayers, the priest would use parsley leaves and as a form of prayer for us. And that's also pharaonic as well. I don't think it's Egyptian pharaonic. I think it's actually Greek.
Yeah.
And we adopted it because there's a big Greek influence as well. The interesting part about the Greco-Roman world is that the Greco-Roman world didn't care on your beliefs as long as you're accepting of everyone else's truths. So if you have you read Marcus Aurelius's book on meditations?
No.
So you'll notice at one point Marcus Aurelius is Roman, but he'll talk about Zeus. But Zeus is a Greek god. He's a Roman. So you notice that in the Greco-Roman world, they like to interchange between gods. They were very fine with using different gods in different religions. The only reason why Christianity was persecuted was because that was the only people that said this is the only truth, and that's when they started to rile up. You know, you can't say that, and it's also the time where Christians used to say humility was a virtue. It's really interesting we live in the world now because you don't really understand what the world was like back then. Power and dominance, you know, sex as well. All these things were looked upon the eyes of dominance. You know, even homosexuality back then is not viewed the same way it is today. Today, it's love, right? Back then, homosexuality was dominance. So a Roman emperor, he would be dominant. Like I'm just talking maturely. He would be dominant, and that would show his dominance as a man.
Yeah.
That's not the same today, right? So everything was about power, dominance back then. And so when Christianity came, it really flipped the scene. Humility is a virtue, not a vice. You know, being proud and prideful is not a good thing. And it's really just, they couldn't stand that. The Roman Empire really couldn't stand that concept. And so when a lot of people were intrigued in this new religion, it really just, it created this divergent power play. And they didn't like that, obviously, because they wanted the power. And hence the persecution. And, you know, you guys are saying my religion's false. The Greeks never said that. They accepted my gods and we accepted their gods. And so that's the interesting part about Christianity. It was the only one that really stood firm in its beliefs.
Yeah, I can imagine it would have. But one thing that I did notice by doing my research in Egypt, and I won't be able to give an exact example because it was so long ago that I did it, but I did find that what they believed before, where the universe was created, is it was, say for example, on day one. No, it wasn't on day one. It would be like, say for example, like the first children to be born were X and X, and then they had children, which was, the wind, the rain, the sun, whatever it might have been. I can't remember exactly what everyone's names were, but I remember looking at it and then looking at the Bible and the 7 days of creation and thinking they are pretty much telling the exact same story.
Right.
With like, at first that there'd be light might have been, and I might be wrong when I say this, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like, it might have been like at first there was a god of Ra, which was the god of the sun, that there'd be light. And then it just so happened that like when God made, the sand, the land and the sea and all that, was the same thing they were saying. The next two children were born with these.
Right.
I remember thinking to myself like,
sounds
maybe
similar.
They're telling the same story, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe everyone really is worshipping the one God. And then
I get what you mean.
I think just because Christ came down and it was God as a human form, it might not necessarily cancel out any other religion, bro.
Yeah. I'll personally do my own research because I don't want to pretend like I know what I don't know. I don't know the Egyptian creation story. As much as I love my ancestors and want to learn more about them, I don't. But I have read Wes Huff, and he has definitely proven that a lot of these theories where there are a lot of pagan beliefs that were similar to Christianity, he's actually myth busted a lot of them. I haven't heard that one specifically, to be honest with you, but I'll see what he has to say. But I think there's a lot of people out there that like to make that connotation that there's a lot of similarities in Christianity and there is outside. That's not true. For example, the whole Osiris had 12 disciples, and that's not true. Like for some reason the media likes to portray that. A lot of these things are false, and they were made by Gnostics during the 2nd century to kind of defeat Christianity and pretend like it was copying other religions. I wouldn't pretend like nothing in there conveys the truth, because that's not true, because Egyptians believed in an afterlife, right? We believe in an afterlife. So they had some forms of the truth, but didn't have the fullness of the truth. And I think that's a big difference. And people need to understand that one person can have a similar moral compass to me, but they don't have the fullness of that truth, the real beauty of what love is, which is the crucifixion. They don't have that. There is no story out there where a God became man and God died for our sins. You will not find that anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so the fullness of that truth is where you want to lie in. And I'll be wary and cautious to say, are we worshipping the one God? Because at the same time, they contradict. They contradict. There is no such thing as Christ. There is no such thing as God becoming man. Like, if it contradicts, how can it be true? It can bear some weight of the truth. Like, for example, if I say 1 + 1 = 2 and you say 1 + 1 = 3, both you and I are using the same numerical values, but one is ending in a different source to the other, right? So we both can't be mathematicians.
But I think the analogy I'm going for is more like, it's not 1 + 1 = 2 and 1 + 1 = 3. It's more like 2 is the answer. God is the answer. Is it 1 + 1 = 2, or is it 0.5 × 4 = 2? I think that there is, in my opinion, there is only one God that everyone is trying to find, the truth, but everyone has a different way of trying to find their path to find God.
Yeah.
And I'm not disregarding that I don't believe that Christ 100% did die on the cross for our sins, and there's enough evidence for me to believe that. However, I can also say that before the time Christ was alive, it doesn't mean there wasn't a God before Christ. There's always been a God.
I know what you're talking about.
And I think that people were trying to find that God,
I know what you're talking about. I think in the Bible, it makes it very clear that Christ preached the gospel when he went into Hades. So in the epistles of Peter, it's very interesting. It talks about the in between the crucifixion and resurrection. And it shows that Christ actually preached and all the righteous went to heaven with him. There's another story we have.
Did you just say Christ went to Hades to preach the gospel?
Yeah.
As in like Hades is in like the eternal afterlife down below.
Yeah.
Believed before.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, that's...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's in the epistles of Peter.
Wow.
Yeah. So what happened is, well, we believe that no one had the access to heaven, so everyone went to hell or Hades. And Christ, after his crucifixion, went down to Hades, preached the gospel, and took those with him. There's also a nice, interesting story which I really like.
Oh, I hear what you're saying. I get it. I know what you're saying now. Yeah.
And the story goes where there was this one Orthodox monk. I love the stories of the fathers. It's very interesting. I'd recommend you read it, the sayings of the desert fathers. And there was this one monk where he used to curse out Plato. He used to be like, oh, I don't like you, Plato. Why does everyone like... Because context, the Orthodox world is very influenced by Plato. We love Plato. Maybe it was because, there's a heavily Greek influence in the Orthodox world. I don't know, but we like Plato a lot. And so this monk didn't like the fact that we liked Plato. Nonetheless, he's a pagan. He's not like us. Why are we, And he cursed him every day. One day, when he cursed him, apparently, this is, again, it's a story. We don't know if it's true or not, but it shows a story, a moral behind it, which is Plato appeared to him. And Plato said, mind you, when Christ came down to Hades, I was the first one to convert, which is very interesting. So I get what you're talking about, that people had a perspective. But this doesn't dismantle the fact that there is hell. There is Hades. There is a place where people will go where they have not received the fullness of truth. So there is a very scary reality that there is this place. And if there are people that are living a life that is not in the truth, which is Christ, there is a very big possible chance that they will end up there. So I don't want to be the guy that says, oh, well, they perceived Christ differently back then, because that might not be true. But also, I did give examples where there were people that didn't know Christ that possibly did go heaven. So as an Orthodox, I say I do not know, in terms of who goes to heaven or hell outside of our faith. But what I do know is Christ making it very clear what I need to do in order for me to attain eternal life, to be saved, to really find true purpose and meaning. And that oneness is found in Christianity. Islam and Buddhism and Judaism, they do contradict Christianity at the end of the day. There is a different perspective, sure, but there is a denial in Christ's divinity. Islam does not believe Christ is divine, nor does Buddhism. Hinduism recently elevated Christ as divine, but with many other gods. Then how does that make sense? Because Christ says, I'm the way, the truth, and life, not a way or a truth or a life. So there is still that strictness in believing what is truth,
I think, it's a very complicated thing for me to wrap my head around, to be honest. And it's only, I think that at this stage in my understanding in enough text, not just biblical, is that I don't have enough information yet to have my own conclusions. I just like asking the right questions that I think are going to get me to where I need to get to, you know what I mean? If I have the question, I need to ask it, because otherwise I don't know.
Sometimes you're not going to know, man. Yeah. Because if I was able to reduce God to what I could understand, how can that be God?
Yeah.
God is greater than me, my feeble mind. So people need to understand that. They try to wrap their head around certain things, certain concepts. How can God become man? It doesn't make sense. Dude, he's God. You're a man. How are you going to know?
Yeah. Well, I think that the only thing that is crazy for me to understand, the only thing that I can't comprehend is how anyone can not believe there is a God. Like, that's the only thing that I just would always challenge.
It's more of a leap of faith to believe that there is no God than there is a God.
Dude, there's enough, it's mathematically possible that there is a God. It can't be impossible that there's a God, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, dude, I tell you what, I don't want to have to get towards the end of the episode, but we did have a time frame in which we had to get to, and we're currently at 4:35 at the moment, so I don't want to keep you in the seat for too much longer. But I do want to say that because I don't want to get towards the end of it, it means I'm just going to have a part 2 at a later date whenever you want to come back on and do another one. But I do have a final question that I do want to ask you, that I do ask every single person that comes and does a podcast. But before I do, I have to say, I think what you're doing in creating the content that you are creating, dude, is a net positive.
Thanks,
and it's not something that I get to necessarily see every day when I'm on social
bro, I appreciate
media.
you. You're a legend. And likewise, man.
Nah, appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Well, the final question I have to ask you is, if someone came to you for a piece of advice, mostly because I was feeling lost, what advice would you give to that person?
The advice I give them is the same advice I give to everyone else that does ask me that question. And self-awareness is one of the most important things. Know thyself. So what are you It's a bit of a Jordan Peterson approach as well to this, because he does. I went to a conference recently, and he talked about. He goes, "Well, are you really depressed, or are you lacking certain things?" And those things were, well, you need to be more self-aware. How's my diet like? Go through the normal human needs. Don't forget, you're human. You need things: sleep, diet, exercise, community. Do you have a purpose? Usually, the reason why I feel depressed is not for the source of the problem, but what's maintaining the problem. This is Psych 101. When I want to tackle an issue, I want to tackle what's maintaining it rather than what's the source of it. So usually what maintains this is that there's a lack of these things here. Now, let's say you have all these things. One of the greatest things that people tend to lack is purpose. Predominantly men. They forget that they were designed for value, for meaning and for purpose. And so in order for me to have value and meaning and purpose in because men don't want love. Women want love. Men want value and respect. They want to feel needed. In order for you to be feeling needed, you need to put in effort, put in work. And so in everything you do, make sure there's value in that piece of work. And which is why I say do those 5 things to begin with. When you start exercising, when you start having a better diet, when you start doing all these little things, it's starting to create value and purpose in the work that you're putting in. And then it propels you to do more, right? Because my life's not just revolved around these little things that I need, but also I need more for the soul. And so you need to understand, what's my meaning in this life? What's my purpose? And everyone's called for a different purpose. But really, as a man, I want value. I want people to respect me. And I can't have that respect unless I have proper, valuable input in when I give to others. So start working more. Start putting more value in the work that you put in. Start creating that meaning. And honestly, it'll go to places that you will never see before. It's a simple answer. It's not a grandiose answer, but it really is in the simplicity where you'll find that grandiose person that you become.
I love that answer, dude, because it is the perfect answer in a sense where it's applicable to anyone's current situation. You just have to start simple, and the simplest answer is the best answer, because who wants to go through the most amount of work to get the easiest results? You know what I mean?
And I also want to make it very clear that you are valuable. I'm not telling you as a man that you need to create value. You are valuable. You need to maintain that. You need to prove that to yourself. You need to show that you have it. Trust me, we all do. We genuinely have that value. You're a man of, you're created in, again, I'm just going to go back to my Christianity, you're created in the image and likeness of God. It's a big deal. People just hear that and go one ear out the other. That's a big deal. You have a soul, you have feelings, you have emotions, you're living this beautiful life, man. Live it,
I love it, bro. It's perfect. It's a perfect answer. It's a perfect answer to wrap up a perfect podcast, bro. And I got to be honest with you, I didn't know where this conversation was going to go. It's kind of one of the main reasons why I love doing the podcast in the first place.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect it to be as... I'm not going to say I didn't expect it to be great, but I loved the crap out of it.
I appreciate it. You're a legend. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So I definitely want to have you back on again in the future. Something I got to do. Before we leave, I have to remind you to sign this wall.
We'll do.
All right, you're going to be the first person in about 5 people to write it. So let's make sure that happens. But I couldn't thank you enough, so thank you very much.
Brother. Thank you.
And for everyone listening, almost forgot, as I always do. It was an amazing week this week. Thank you for watching. There'll be another one next week, as I promised. That's all right.
Gang, bro. That's it, man.
Yeah, we heading for the sun. Charlie got my high, I ain't tripping for the funds. Yeah, I won't start, I ain't tripping on the stun.